Spice it up for J-L. What's up, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, bro. I'll get us started here. Here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I am your host, Rod. It is a Tuesday, and I'm joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live. And with no further ado, we have a guest. All right. Back by popular demand. J-L Cauvin. You may know him as comedian, impressionist, writer, actor, but I just know him as a man that doesn't appreciate black art. What's up, man?
I'm all those things and so much more. It's great. It's great to be here. I'm fresh off a trolling of a fan. That's become my new thing. I'm not going to let them. I'm going to choose the method of my destruction. I'm not going to let bad fans ignore me. I'm going to let them know I'm cutting you out. I fire you. You can't fire me. You can't quit. I fire you, bad fan.
Very much the one who knocks. Okay.
This dude, I got another, and I joke with them, but whenever I get somebody, this guy wrote to me, he said, that's your show on Friday is in my backyard. He obviously means like close by. And he said, I'm going to try to make it. And I have that Yoda gif on ready to go. Do or do not. There is no try.
There is no try. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you don't have to try. If you don't show up, that's okay.
Right. Like now you just made it. Now you've made it a failure of your point to not show up. You see what I'm saying? Like it was before it was just hey, anything could have happened. I don't know, maybe life, but now that you're like, I'm gonna try to make it and not make it. Now it's like, fuck you, man. That was a seat in my heart I was counting on, staring at your face. And now look at you.
When I get to a venue and I see fewer people than tweets telling me you're going to try to make it, it doesn't feel good. And I know you had this, you had the same discussion with, and it's kind of in people's nature to kind of try to be helpful. But whenever you get that, like you said, when you were getting those streams of, I can't make it. I can't, it just sets you, it's like, you're not the problem individual person, but you have to understand if I get 10 not a problem individuals in a row, I now have a problem.
You need to understand, and this is not being cold or mean, but your wants mean nothing to me. It's like if I said, oh man, I wanted to give you $10. Like that, there's not the thought that counts on this one. Just if you can make it and you're there, that means everything. I'm looking up, you're there. Oh, so dope. If it's 2 days after the event and you're like, man, I wish I had heard, you honestly just come kick me in my fucking balls. You don't care. But I know that's how people are trained. They think that that's a good thing. JL, man, what is going on right now, man? I know I see you're out here promoting shows, for your dead comedy career. It's been, long dead and threatening. I feel like it's been
digging it up from the grave, but it's
been
dead, though.
Holding a gun to his head and trying to die by suicide by cop.
Who's gonna blink first, me or you?
For years. So but I keep seeing events and I'm happy. I listen to your podcast, and on the last one, honest to God, I listened to it, and there were so many jokes about you killing yourself in the first 10 minutes. I really hope he's gonna be here Tuesday. So I'm happy. But what events should people be showing up to just in case you had the resolve?
Sure. Yes, this Friday, the 14th, I'm in York, Pennsylvania with Chris Lamberth. The Falcon and Winter Soldier of the Black Guy Who Tips cinematic universe together on one bill. So that should entice anybody within driving distance that's a fan of the show to come out. I have a fundraiser that's open to the public, but it's like a Democratic fundraiser for like upstate New York County on the 15th. And then Princeton, New Jersey on the 28th and 29th. Ann Arbor, Michigan, which I've been trying to get back to that club for 3 years. It finally happened. on the 11th and 12th of November, and then Syracuse Funny Bone the day before Thanksgiving. So if anybody's up in upstate New York for, back home and wants to do something that night, with the family or friends, that's the thing to do. Because
that's a nice amount of gigs.
It is. It's they just, I am relentless because there's two things I like: success and being proven correct. And either way, if I don't get gigs, it proves that my career is a failure. And at least I can go, you see, I was right. I'm not happy, but I was correct. Or I get gigs and I'm happy because I want to do gigs. So
this can't lose.
And this was all, I mean, I've complained about this on Righteous Prick a lot, but the reason I went this kind of stretch without a lot of gigs was because I front loaded so many gigs early in the year to do like a kind of month-long, two-month kind of hitting up every club that would have me headline. And it was a lot of fun because that was like a victory tour after recording my special, which, by the way, on October 23rd will be a year old from the first recording.
Bruh. We'll have to come back to the special because we need to remind the audience.
Yeah, that's its own nightmare. But So basically, I used almost all my vacation time from my day job to do that, which I was happy to do because if I'm being completely honest, the special went so well. And I had Billions. I knew I had my appearance on Billions coming up in February that I knew nothing was guaranteed. But I said, you know what? If I'm going to make a move, I can't do better than a nice little role on a hit show plus a special that I know is an A+. Like maybe it doesn't work out, but if I get a publicist and I get those two things and we create a narrative, I joke, I say, if they could take Mark Wahlberg from like some punk racist white rapper in Boston and turn him into an Oscar nominated actor in 15 years, they can take me from a popular comedian and make me slightly more popular. Yeah. That shouldn't be a tough lift.
That's not a big demand.
Right. So that was kind of my rebrand me as a slightly better known comedian. That's all you have to do, publicist. But I had the tools in place. Now, obviously, the special, it was recorded horribly, which I only found out at the end of that vacation / tour, which was like, that was the worst because it was like, wait, oh, I can't redo this. Like I just went to all the clubs that will have me, so I can't go back to them and be like, I need to reshoot something. Can I get another set at your club? Like they'll be like, yeah, call us in 12 months. Like we rotate. And so then I did the next set in May. I finally did it. I was at first unhappy because it was like the first set was like Giannis 50 points. I told Chris Lambert privately, I said, it was game 6, 50 points elimination game, Giannis performance. Just whatever that means for my comedy, that is what I did. This was more of a 28 points. It felt like 28, 8 and 5. A great great line, but I'm comparing it to this crying over the trophy kind of performance. Yeah. But then they finally got me an edit. And it actually enough of time had gone by where the anger was sort of gone. I didn't have it anymore. I spent all of it. And I was really happy. I was so surprised because I was like, the way they edited it, I said, it looks really good. And if you don't know that this bit wasn't done as well, or this bit, and there were new bits that were put in that I didn't even have for the first taping. Like my favorite bit on them was probably about serial killers, like involving race. And I watched it and I really was watching it for like, where is it going to be like where I get really mad or go, dang, that's and I finished it. I was like, that's great first edit. Let's keep moving. Finally, it's happening. I am good with this. Let's go. Now I don't have Billions. I don't have that force multiplier, but you know what? I definitely will still have a really good special, like really good. I see a lot of stuff out there from some from comics I respect, some that I go, but this, I hate to sound like epic about this, but this is like my life. Like this is as much me being provocative and sharing my story, like from you know, all jokes aside, as Karen might say, the it's like a journey. It's like a journey of like, I take you on my pandemic rise, which is the more recent. And I even say, I know the pandemic is like old news, but 2 people like bailed on this show tonight because they got COVID. So I feel like COVID's still relevant.
Yes.
And I take people through this like funny like unexpected rise to fame, which there's only like 10 people that could even tell a story like this. And I'm a better comedian than all of them.
Right.
And then we get to that point where some of Sarah Cooper's fans were like calling me out because they didn't know I was doing an impression and they didn't know I was half black. And they kind of just were like, hey, I'm going to be a progressive hero and defend a black woman. Like, you know, I'm going to take this guy out for my new internet black woman friend.
Right.
And then that allows me to then tell my story in a different way of like, here's how I've been judged as like a white dude from kid to adulthood. So it's like, here's why that made me so mad. And we go through all that. And then I kind of do, you know the JB Smoove video, and it's almost like a self-own in a way, but I explain it. And the reason I think it's, if somebody accepts this, because we talked about like the title, Half Blackface.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't like that title, they're not going to like the special. Like, they're not going to be like, I love all of it except the title. They're not going to like what it is if they don't like the title.
They won't make it past the title.
Yeah, they won't make it past it.
And the thing about it is that I basically go with like a question. I'm not saying you can't cancel me. I'm like, I don't know. Should I be canceled? Because I knew it was kind of dangerous. I'm not an idiot, but I'm also half black. And I wasn't doing it in some sort of minstrelsy spirit. I was doing, and I say, you know who else is a bald black guy with glasses? My dad. So it's like, so I'm doing the thing where I'm not giving permission to anybody to sort of condemn me, but also not to use me as like well, you see, that's what I've been saying the whole time, bro. If I just want to go to Halloween dressed as Trayvon, that's just Halloween.
Same thing.
Right. And it's like, but I'm not doing the thing. Instead of being maybe Chappelle is the best example, I'm not doing I said it and you can't, like, I'm saying, can we acknowledge that I literally represent sort of a line? Right. And if I can't, like, where's the line then? If I can't do it, which, hey, maybe you think I can't, but then then what is the line? Because, and it's more of like and it's not profound. I also want to say that it's funny. Like, there's no moment where it's like, wow. Wow.
Everyone, now that we all are in agreement, everyone can clap now. Thank you.
Right.
Thank
you. No, it was completely not that, which was also a point of pride, obviously, for me to be like, how do I tell my story and be funny? So it's all I need is one person to get it. It's funny. But I need one person to have like the confidence with some
pull
that just says, yeah, like this is really funny and it is completely unique. Like it's a completely unique experience from his pandemic rise to the way he tells his background story, because it's not, I have stories that, I'm like, if I wasn't so angry about the delays, I'd be like giddy, like I want it out. And I'm prepared for backlash because I'm going to say this. I'm very comfortable with the special because it's like, you can't tell me I'm wrong. Like you can't open my eyes to how insensitive I was or how that's not okay with some people. I'm aware of all of it. I'm retelling a story from a sketch that I thought was funny. And I get into Latin dudes using the N-word, and I'm like, if 25% of your demographic voted for Donald Trump, I think you're an automatic no. And then I say, by the way, I think it was like 18% of black men voted for Donald Trump in 2020, and I said, if that goes up any higher, every edit is going to be a clean edit.
We just literally have had a controversy where Fat Joe got called out for using the N-word, and I think he was on like the Breakfast Club and answered it, and And I was just thinking like, man, I've been waiting on that for like 30 years. I honestly, it's so long that I haven't cared in a long time. I've made my peace with it. As a hip hop lover, when I was in North Carolina, in the first year I heard Got a Flow Joe, and he was saying the N-word on that album. I just remember looking around like, and everyone, he didn't get like fucked up or nothing. Everybody's like, nah, they could say it up there. I was like, okay, so different rules. Y'all do it different up there. But it has always been a thing that I've always wondered. And every time something relevant, because you've talked to me about the special like in person and stuff. I know some of the jokes, even though I haven't seen it. Every time there's certain shit that happens, I'm like, this would be a great time to have that fucking special out. Like so many times over the last year. I'm like, you could just take a clip, put it online, and go, bam.
That's partly what's like. What gives me confidence in it is none of it's been spoiled yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, this special is strong. Like it is, but we keep inching closer. A Jeffrey Dahmer series would have been a great time for the serial killer bit to be going viral.
Damn.
The Fat Joe thing. And to be sensitive to Fat Joe, I feel like legally, and I've made jokes about there being like an N-word court where I'm like, I could win on the merits, but like I would have to get my ass kicked before I make my case to use it. But Fat Joe, at this point, you're like, I mean, is it fair legally to be like, we've completely let you have a pass for like 30 years, and now that you're like 56, we're like, excuse me? It's not a report that he hid like 30 years ago. He's been just saying it. Like,
honestly, and I'll be grandfathered in. He looking like, what's wrong with y'all?
Honestly, when I listened to his response, I was like, that's fair. Because like his response was the same response a black person has. If you told me I couldn't say nigga no more, I would have word for word done what Fat Joe was like, motherfucker, I grew up in a community. This is my shit. What are you talking about? Well, who are you? You don't know me, man. Fuck you. Suck my dick. Like, that's about the right tone. It can't be like, one of these, like, for lack of a better term, it can't be like a woke, very conscious. Like,
there's no Michael Eric Dyson amount of, now, do you see? The thing is, when we got this word, we had to use it in a way to empower ourselves. And to gain that power, we had to realize that there is a place for that word now outside of the community, but we do allow some of our Afro-Latinx brothers, like a Fat Joe, to use the word, and I'm okay with that if you are okay with it.
In the vaunted words of the lyrical prophecy of Tupac Shakur.
Yes!
You always try to throw in some fucking like the lyrical giant that is Tupac Shakur. It's my homie calls.
Giant.
If I ever need a place to stay, well, I like that, brothers and sisters. Like, what? That's just a lyrics from Jay-Z. You can't do that. But yeah, man. So where's the special stand now? Like, you saw it, edit. What do you think?
So last week, 2 weeks ago, I put down an ultimatum because just to make it clear, I feel like I want to talk like Michael Eric Dyson now. Like, now, do you see what we have a special, and it is so far not doing so special. I'm having a bowl of Special K, but not with the KKK because they want to defeat and deflate my black body and intellect. So this is where we must intersect with comedy and lyrical poetry on the racial spectrum. That's why we have the racial chameleon.
Hey, whoever told professors and academics that like you got to get involved with the Southern Black Church, I thank them every day because they provided us some characters. Cornel West, Michael Eric Dyson, like that whole like I gotta talk like a Southern preacher, but also I read like fucking like I'm an intersectionalist and an internationalist and this that like I love that shit. That is the best. Thank you, whoever did that.
But the thing is, 2 weeks ago I basically sent an ultimatum because you have the production company, and then you have a third party that they are using, a very connected person in comedy, which is why I have been more patient than I've ever been, because this is somebody who will at least be able to get it in front. It may not get bought. It probably won't get bought, but at least I get an at bat. I get like Somebody from Showtime might see it. Somebody from, as Tubi might see it. Somebody who might open up a checkbook, Epics, whoever. I think it will at least get seen by somebody. And I said, I gave them 2 weeks, like a week and a half ago. And I said, I need to be able to buy this back. Like, I can't wait anymore. It's his connections at some point won't be valuable because the special will be like becoming ancient in this ecosystem. It'll be like, when was this filmed? So I said 2 weeks, or else I need to be able to buy it and like just put it on my website, hire an editor myself. And because it's a year since the first show, and it's about to be 5 months since the second show. And like this Friday will be 5 months since I did the second taping. And so they said to me, oddly enough, on Friday, you'll have it after the weekend and then we can get the contract signed. Well, it's Tuesday and I don't have it. So that gave me like a few days of like feeling like, thank goodness. And now, I'm just going to wait. And on Friday, I'm going to say where I need, like, my original ultimatum stands. So where is it?
Yeah. This is the part about entrepreneurship and LLC, Twitter and stuff that they never talk about.
No, they don't.
Like with our business, we have to invoice sponsors sometimes. And, these are big fucking businesses, man. Like my money don't mean shit to them in the way that it means something to me. So, you submit an invoice and it's like 3 months later and you're like, I don't want to be a dick, but I did that work. And that money was promised 60 days ago.
Yeah.
And they're somewhere like, that's $300. That's it. And I'm like, that's $300 to me. I don't like
cable and cell phones, sir.
Right. And they have a whole team. There's an AR department. They will fucking call you every goddamn day, email you and your mama to get their $25 back.
Yeah, if I owe them money the other way around, it'd be totally different. But yeah, that's that. But I'm glad to hear that it's at least seems to be nearing some sort of conclusion there. It's
so good. Like, I say that as somebody who obviously is always tooting their own horn, but this is different. Like, this was it. It felt like this was like, I've done a lot. I had this odd rise during the pandemic that I never saw coming. And this was like, while I still have some attention, I'm going to hit it out of the park. And then I can, if I have to leave the business for my own mental health, at least the thing bugging me won't be like, but should I have just tried one more thing to see if it worked? I'll be like, my best ever. I had all these followers. I put out my best work ever. If that wasn't enough to just get me to the next level, then, I got a life to live. I can't do a day job. And then every amount of free time I have is like doing videos or writing blogs or trying to get gigs on the road, so that I'm like, hey babe, I know we haven't gone on vacation in a year and a half, but I got to use up all my vacation again to do gigs around the country. So, it's
I mean, I think you took that vacation time and that tour at the perfect time, because you got to say, and a lot of people don't get to do this, but you got to say farewell to your jazz team. They're dead. And
Jazz Saris. I looked at him in his bed as Danny Ainge traded away all the dragons for future picks.
Yeah, man. Like it's bad. The Jazz are down bad. I was looking at NBA highlights for preseason last night, and Donovan Mitchell goes up and catches a 2-hand alley-oop for Cleveland. I was just like, oh God, it's really over for the Jazz.
What I need from the Jazz, and I want to say this before I forget, we'll get back to the Jazz, but I wanted to say yesterday's or Sunday's episode, the Chick-fil-A story probably got the most LOLs from me of like just about anything you've done this year. It started when Karen, and I have to give Karen credit because I felt like it didn't get the laugh it deserved when I heard it was a pleasure to hit you in the face. Yeah. That got it rolling. And then you were doing like the Cobra Kai. I mean,
feels.
Well, she's so good, and she sneaks in by me, and a lot of times it's not until the edit or like a re-listen. I'm like, Oh my God, they were so good. And you know,
that really made me like, because you'd already done something about that. Hey, pleasure to serve you. And when she said, pleasure to hit you in the face or punch you in the face, but in the same tone. I wish if Chick-fil-A had the same rep as like a Waffle House, that would be the sketch. Like literally like a Cobra, like Chick-fil-A Cobra Kai. Like that, except it's like a one-time thing. So it's not, it wouldn't work. Like people wouldn't get it as a thing.
Right. That would be a great sketch at Chick-fil-A versus a Waffle House. like them just meeting each other in the middle of the street for turf.
I do feel like Chick-fil-A. I was looking at this article today. I couldn't believe it. I honestly still can't believe it. I just read it. Do y'all know Chick-fil-A has the slowest average time on drive-thru?
Oh, people don't care.
I honestly can't believe. It's hard to believe,
right?
Because the experience of the drive-thru is so fucking good,
ain't it? Though?
I've never been like, fuck, man, that was 20 minutes. I've always been like, goddamn, man, Chick-fil-A, them homophobic chickens are fucking great.
I'm gonna tell you why I like that, because I don't drive, so like, I'm always concerned. Like the drive-thru at most establishments is now the priority. So you'll be standing, you'll be like one of two people online in a McDonald's near me, and like nobody's helping. It's like bizarre. It's like they're basically like, we're here for the drive-thru. Use one of the machines or something. We'll get to you when we get to you. I think Chick-fil-A is committed to that person-to-person interaction. So they, if you're in front of them, I think they're saying like, we got we got a person.
It's like a magic trick. It's like a magic trick because when you go to a Chick-fil-A drive-thru, they actually put the people outside the building.
I think that makes a difference.
And they when you pull up to the drive-thru, they're fucking there at your car before you can even get to that thing. And they're like, what would you like? My pleasure. It'd be my pleasure. What can I help you with? And you're one, you can't even fucking like, unless you go there all the time. I don't remember the menu. So I have to be like, is it a 5? What's the number 5?
They don't need to get mad.
They're just like, oh, no, sir, it's such and such. And then you go through the thing. That probably takes extra time.
They have a plastic menu they'll give you.
Then you pay for it with the person right there.
Right.
So that's probably a little extra time, even though it feels faster because you're paying earlier in the process. And then you don't even get to the window now. They come outside and bring your fucking food car to car.
Wow.
I mean, in my mind, I'm like, that probably is a longer process, but it feels so short. It's hard to believe they're last, but I mean, listen,
that's smart. That's smart because that's exactly what it is. Like, it's taking more time because they're making it a more pleasant experience. So
so people are willing to wait.
It's like an extra 2 minutes of customer service per person, and you walk away like, fucking Chick-fil-A, man. It's hard to boycott those guys, and that's why, because they're not being homophobic in the fucking line. It's not like they're not out there like, are those some gay people? Fuck this, hold on, I'll be right back. Like, nah, it's different.
They even put a little number on your car and shit when you walk. I was like, what is that number? I was like, oh, the number is so that when they bring the food out, they know what car to go to.
Yep.
And I've been to Chick-fil-A with gay employees, and I just go,
me too.
And it doesn't feel like a gay Republican. That's the magic.
No.
It doesn't feel like, how can you do this? It's like, well, you're nice, and everybody here seems nice, so that makes sense.
Yeah, like Chick-fil-A was truly one of those places where I think everyone figured it was some homophobia because they're closed on Sundays, right? I mean, come on, who are we kidding? Everyone figured it, but it was like, as long as no one confirms it, we're just all gonna pretend it's all good, right? They're the only restaurant in America that gives up the biggest day to sell chicken.
The biggest day. Like, I'm at the after church crowd.
Like, let's just pretend that it's some type of integrity rather than related to probably white evangelical. Hey, let's just pretend that this guy, he's such a good, faithful believer, but instead it's probably like, we need to convert gay people in Africa, and that's Sunday. We're gonna use that. We're gonna be down there killing gay people, and then we'll come back Monday and get your chicken right.
It's a real flex, though. It's a fast food flex, though, to be like, we only need to work 6 days a week.
Right.
On the 7th day, the Lord and Chick-fil-A rested.
The scariest part about Chick-fil-A is when that information came out, the lines got longer. That's the scariest. That's when we should have known January 6th was definitely happening. We're in like 2012 when them lines got long. We should have been like, yo, it's a contingent of people in America that don't leave the house until it's time to act a fool.
Well, my buddy from South Carolina is the one who got me on to Chick-fil-A. And then he stopped going. I mean, I think he's been back now, but he took some serious time off because specifically of the Sarah Palin, like, let's go get Chick-fil-A. Let's do it because, and it's
Governor it's Abbott in Texas signed like some anti-trans bill or something, and he had Chick-fil-A on his desk, and I didn't eat Chick-fil-A for like 6 months. I was like,
it was
nah,
a long time.
I can't do it. Like every time I drove by, I was like, I just saw this motherfucker and that Chick-fil-A on his desk. I was like, who the fuck you? Because I would just want, if I'm Chick-fil-A even, and I do, let's say secretly down low, I do hate gay people at the top of the chain, right? I'd still release a press release like, hey, we're not with what Greg Abbott's doing. That's ridiculous. But instead, they're just like, this is right. He was eating Chick-fil-A. We're not going to support it or not support it. Keep in mind, Chick-fil-A restaurants have an average of 4.74 cars in its drive-thru. That is much higher than the average of 2.76 among the other 10 chains that they did for the study. But that could also be because like more people eat there. I don't know.
Them lines be so goddamn long.
Yeah, like
they be back down into the road. Like they've had several Chick-fil-A's here today. Literally, they tear them down, and they tear Chick-fil-A's down every so many years and rebuild them anyway. Yeah. But a lot of them they've been tearing down. They've been making them like double drive-throughs. You see people out there in the rain. Some of them have like little cot shelters and shit.
Yeah, Arby's average is -2 cars per drive-thru.
Oh no!
Which I don't know how that's even possible, but they do it somehow. So
Arby's is I feel like it's been a while, and I always enjoy the Arby's comments. It just can't be said enough. It can't be said enough.
It really can't.
I've done bits on the road, and there's always like, it's funny because there will be one person who speaks up.
Always.
But it's never like 3 tables clap.
No.
It's like one woman going, I kind of like Arby's, and it's like apologetic. It's like, right, you need to be ashamed of that. You don't understand why you like. Maybe your dad took you when you were a kid, and it's like, I get that. Like it's a trauma, it's a grooming situation where it's like these adults groomed me to like Arby's, so now I have this childhood connection to it. But if you just eat the food,
it's like if
a regular person.
It's like if you got a spanking when you're a kid, you still love your parents, but the way your mind has to condition yourself to the spanking ends up becoming like an act of love, or thank God I got spanked. That's what Arby's is for these people. It's trauma from their parents took them, and then they're like,
feed your kids Arby's. Yeah, that's got to be the new saying. Black comedians will start going, you got to feed your kids Arby's.
You know when we started going wrong. You know when we started going wrong when we stopped giving the kids Arby's.
You give them Arby's out of love.
Burger King saying you can have it your way.
Me more than it hurts you.
Say that again, Jay. I'm sorry.
You got Burger King saying you can have it your way. Nope. You can have it Arby's.
You have it our way at Arby's. Yeah, that's really that's where
hilarious.
That's where the trauma comes from. But the Arby's thing is always interesting because those people should know that if they've been to Arby's, there's one thing they've never been in, which is a line. So like, you're alone. Why are you trying to make it my problem when you're in that dusty ass restaurant?
And where are you on Ving Rhames? Is he like a Sheriff David Clark of fast food?
You know what I picture Ving Rhames and Pusha T. I feel like they're just getting a check. Pusha T, like the fact that you even hire Pusha T is a complete admittance that you're related to the drug trade, and this is a money laundering operation. That man only raps about selling drugs.
Here's how you'll know. I'm predicting in 2 years, Will Smith's first endorsement back. Arby's.
That's I might have to quit him. I'm not ready for that. I'm already ready to take Will back if he make this good slavery movie. But if he goes all the way to Arby's, I might have to join the squad of people that don't fuck with Will Smith. Don't do it, Will. Speaking of blackface, it was trending today.
With Sarah Silverman, right?
Because of Sarah Silverman.
What happened?
So remember we talked about on the show Sunday, Sarah Silverman.
You called it.
No one's talking. Yeah, no one's speaking up about the Jewish community. And of course, Black Twitter was like Michael Jordan looking at that fucking tablet. They took that personally and it was like, this means you're calling us out. Holly Robinson Pete said something in like a reply to someone who replied to Sarah Silverman. And then Sarah Silverman was like, I went through your timeline and I didn't see anything about Kanye. And then all of Black Twitter descended on this woman like, how dare you, bitch? Black Twitter has been talking about this and you did blackface and now it's trending on Twitter. Which would have been a perfect time to drop
another
another missed opportunity. All the opportunities are slipping through your fingers. They better get it together, JL.
I mean, 2022 was supposed to be my year. I had it set up, Eamon style, second son of the Cauvin family. I was ready. The industry had cut out my eye, but I said, it's okay. It's okay, family. I gave up an eye, but I gained a special. And
do not mourn me.
Yeah, don't mourn me. I'll turn into evil Bo Burnham next episode. I'm I'm sorry to do this. I know you have, but I'm a huge, I mean, Eamon, somebody wrote on Facebook, weird, and I said this on my show, but I was like, it's very, I called him White Mamba because it's very Kobe looking at Jordan when he looks at Damon. There's like a respect, but there's that you're the one I'm gonna have to take out if I really want this, because he like it's almost like he's like, that's my dude, but I'm gonna have to take you out.
When Damon cut off Damon's head, Eamon didn't flint. Eamon looked like, oh, we could cut off heads. Yeah,
he looked like Kobe, like. I'm gonna copy that fadeaway jumper. Like, whose head can I cut off?
You know that move where Michael Jordan grips the ball, pulls it out, and pulls it back. That was how Eamon looked at it, like, oh, okay, so we cutting off heads, yeah, for sure.
I'm just afraid Eamon, and then I'll stop. Because I know I feel like Eamon to me is almost already too cool. Like his character is like a sleek machine already, where I'm like, oh, look, you just want to watch him work.
Yes, like he is about the business in a way that no other character on this show he's the way that he is aligned in this show feels like if you were playing a video game and that's the character they let you be. And so you have knowledge of everybody else's decisions and the whole storyline. So you just streamline your character to like, I don't worry about, I'm not going to be chasing women. I'm not going to be out here. I'm not even torturing people or doing sick, sadistic shit. Only thing I care about is the throne, putting my family in position to get the throne, marrying the right person so that we can continue the lineage. He's 100% focused on that throne. And that should be
championships. It's just he wants championships. That's
yeah. They said
he's gonna start yelling at Shaq to stop doing movies.
Yeah, I feel like
get in shape, boy.
I honestly feel like that motherfucker would kill his brother, like straight up.
Take him out in a heartbeat.
Like straight up on some, like, not even like the way that in Godfather where you feel bad about it. Like where it's like, oh no, this motherfucker was crazy. I should be on the throne. What was he doing? Guys, you saw it.
All right, but and I won't talk, but I wanted to make. Are you a second son, Rod?
I'm the oldest brother.
Oh, never get out of here then. Get out of here.
That's why I understand. Your brother then. That's why I understand the younger brother thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a younger brother. And obviously I love him, so I have a lot of sympathy for the younger brother in a way that understandably makes me weak. You see what I'm saying? Like he could kill me. He could be stronger than me because I still have the handicap of or like golf handicap term, the handicap of loving them. And I feel like the younger brother always has a little that competitive part that's like, all right, motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's I feel like
without even trying, as an older brother, you set a bar. It's not, you don't have to be trying to do that. You just do. That's what you walk the path first.
Right.
And either you can make it easier for your brother, you can pave the way, or they can look at it and say, oh, nice.
When something happens to your younger brother, even if he deserves it, you're the fucking guy. You like when Allison slaps Aegon for getting drunk, like, what the fuck does that have to do with this guy losing an eye, beating up the other kids and calling them bastard? Nothing. But you're his older brother. It's on you no matter what. And that's a lesson that gets drilled into all the older siblings. But the younger siblings not responsible in that way. So I feel like they're the cleaner killer. They're the one that understands pushing the boundaries and shit. And that's why the older brother is always the weaker of the siblings. The same thing with Viserys and Daemon to a certain extent, where like Daemon's always he's got better ideas for being king than Viserys does, because Viserys is like, guys, we're a family. Let's all come together, guys. Right? Like, you stop tripping, we'll be cool. And Daemon's like, I would kill that motherfucker.
Yeah, Viserys is right there. Like in every show, I feel like Jon Snow, you could argue, was an overall good kid. Like, he was a good guy. Like, everybody else was like bad and good at times. Though I personally give Daenerys a pass. I'm still with you. When she roasted King's Landing, I wasn't like, my God, she's going crazy. I was like, no, it's about time. Cue the Lizzo. It's about that time. Like, that's it.
By the way,
this is what I've been waiting for.
My whole timeline of people that want to eat the rich were just disgusted, and that was when I knew the revolution was bullshit on Twitter.
Right.
Y'all ain't about this life. Y'all ain't about this life. We're gonna eat the rich. Y'all gonna eat the rich and then get to like some people y'all like house. Like, guys, do we have to eat Oprah? Come on. She made my favorite show. But yeah, a little.
I feel like I was just gonna say, I feel like Viserys in this show is like the good, like he's like the Jon Snow level. Like, he's just a good person in the world that, like, you can't be a good person.
Yeah, I already know I'm gonna be the first person to die. So I'm made my, I'm very content with that. If everything break loose, because I'll be like, somebody say help, I'm going to help. Somebody has need, I'm giving. And then I'm gonna run over there and be stab, and then I'm gone. Like, I have made that I'm be the first person to leave here.
Like, it's crazy where they took Viserys from episode 1, and most of us hated him by the end of the episode. Like, this motherfucker, what? Your wife? You let your wife go out like that? And now episode 8 is like Big Mama from fucking Soul Food, where you just like, well, when he died, the whole family gonna fall apart.
Yeah,
they need Big Mama.
The Big Mama, the old thing keeping everybody together.
Right. All right. The Supreme Court declines to hear a case on whether fetuses are entitled to constitutional rights, which will avoid triggering another culture war months after they overturned Roe v. Wade. Do you think they just got scared of the backlash from Roe v. Wade or something? Or like, why
they got permanent positions? Why they scared?
Republicans about to lose a lot. Republicans could potentially be losing a lot of votes, specifically because of that Roe v. Wade thing. They kind of galvanized a lot of Democratic voters, and I don't believe that this Supreme Court is unpartisan. I think they want Republicans to win with the way they're ruling, like the way they ruled on voting restrictions and stuff. So I think they do look at the news. They are partisan, and I don't have a good faith belief system in that they were like, oh, this is just too controversial for us. It's like, I wonder what the strategy is.
And what was this? This was a law that would say a fetus is a person.
Yeah, it would say, do fetuses have constitutional rights? I think
that's too far. Like, they secretly probably want like states to like make up their own minds on that and not have their hands on that detailed a question, because it's like, can a fetus then have a gun? Like is a fetus allowed to shoot the doctor when he's delivering it? Like, I feared for my life. This guy was reaching into my mother, and I shot him. I'm defending my my mother. What's wrong with that?
Well, then that lady got it right. The lady that they gave a ticket to that was pregnant and she was riding in the 2-person lane. Y'all just stop that bullshit then. It's a person. Let it be a person.
But they've learned their lesson also. I think there is a chance that it's simply they're like, this isn't a good idea, like politically. I think John Roberts, not to make the analogy, I bet you John Roberts watches House of the Dragon and thinks he's Viserys. Like, right? Like he's like, I'm just trying to do its best. But like they look at him and like, you're Otto Hightower, sir.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Just because the 4 of us are Damon and Aemon doesn't make you Viserys. You're Otto Hightower. Like you want to play the game in a more high-minded way, but you are no Viserys, sir.
Yeah, nice try, buddy. Yeah, it's so funny when like John Roberts.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg is Viserys. She's I will hold, I think if I hold on long enough, I can fix this.
Yep. She's like, we just need to stick together as a family. No more milk of the poppy for me. I'm going to court. And you're like, this motherfucker's dead. She is good as dead. But yeah, so the state had the case that started with 2 women who were pregnant at the time when the case was first filed. They sued on behalf of their fetuses together with a Catholic organization against the decision by Rhode Island Supreme Court. The state court left in place a Rhode Island abortion rights law and determined the unborn babies had no legal right to sue because they were not persons protected by the 14th Amendment. Conservative Justice Samuel Alito wrote in June's ruling overturning the abortion rights precedent that in the decision, the court took no position on if and when prenatal life is entitled to any of the rights enjoyed after birth. So that was what I believe he wrote in the Roe v. Wade decision. The legal battle surrounding the Reproductive Privacy Act signed by then Governor Gina Raimondo in 2019, which sought to enshrine in the law the right to an abortion before Roe was overturned. Old Rhode Island laws that predated the 1973 Road and Roe are killing me. The 1973 Roe ruling that legalized abortion pre-viability in all 50 states had prohibited abortions and included a criminal statute. After the Roe ruling, a federal court declared that Rhode Island law unconstitutional, and it was not in effect when the Democratic-led legislature enacted the 2019 Reproductive Privacy Act. So I guess they were hoping the overturn of Roe v. Wade would re-trigger this old law.
That feels problematic without being an expert on that. To me, it feels problematic to be like, in 1905, the people elected that passed the law that wasn't okay. But yes, now we can be ruled by their law. They're all dead, and their law now becomes our current legislature needs to.
We also in that year burned 7 women at the stake as witches. Right. So maybe we should look into that law too. It's like, there's a lot trying to come back, but yeah, I just find it interesting that they sidestepped it. I don't trust them, so it's easy for me to believe that they just saw the way the fucking wind was blowing. It was like, ixnay on the abortion until after November, you know?
Yeah, and it's one of those things too, to where I think them ruling on this will actually make people challenge birth control. Because like people say birth control is next. Like, you think it stops at abortion? No. Now they're going to be like, we don't want you killing babies. Now they're going to be like, we want you, whenever you get pregnant, we basically want you to have these kids. And what's going to happen is that you're going to have the populace is going to shoot through the roof. And prior to abortions happening, like being legal here, they said the crime was high. They said poverty was through the roof. Like they was murders was high. They was talking about all these things that happened were here in this country. And because you have a bunch of unwanted kids.
I think they're going to do that thing where they're going to make it illegal to fall down the stairs. Like, if you're a woman and you fall down the stairs, it's just immediate death sentence.
You get arrested.
Well, I think I was just going to say I think with birth control, sadly, it's probably, Karen's probably right. What they'll do is the court will say, well, we're not saying birth control is bad. We're just saying there's nothing in the Constitution that guarantees, a right to it.
Right.
So therefore, what I would then, the crazy thing to me though is, if I can play the Catholic devil's advocate here.
Here we go. This is what we need on the show. Let's go, brother. They ain't been represented lately.
With abortion, there is a rationale that a good faith person, I believe, can have to say, I think that's life. I think that's the beginning of life. Birth control, like, you can disagree with that, but I think there are plenty of bad faith actors in politics and in places who don't really buy. Like, to me, whenever you catch one of these Republicans saying pro-life, Herschel Walker as an example, but you have many respectable, experienced politicians who it's like pro-life, threatening my mistress to have, like, and that's such an extreme level. It's like, no, you're not just being like, if you have to have it, I guess. You're like, if you don't get this, if you don't murder this life that I pretend to care about with other people, I fucking end you. And it's like, whoa. And but birth control to me is such a, I know it's just many people, it's not a big step from that. But to me, I can't even really get somebody who would be like, no condoms. No pills. No, like that to me, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I wouldn't even be like, this is, I'd be like, what state is this? Mississippi. What are you doing?
That's what it leads to. It's like all these bad faith actors go behind these good faith actors, and like they be like, cool. They put them in the front because these people are very sincere about it. They'll move everybody. The laws will get passed, and these bad faith actors will take what is written in law and interpret it the way they want to. And then next thing you know, all this shit happens.
Well, the thing I would say is, I know that there's already, it is so weird the way we talk about it. There's already limitations on abortion in every single state. There is no state where it's just like, hey man, pop that baby out, let's kill it. You know, like every state is like, all right, within reason. Okay, it's been 16 weeks. I'm sorry, it's been 20 weeks. That's the limit. We can't after that with any good conscience. So we do believe in some level of personhood for a fetus after a certain amount of time, as long as it's not gonna like kill the mom or something, right?
Right.
Every state. But the way we discuss these things is either like, motherfucker, you can get an abortion at fucking 2 years old, or you can get an abortion or you can never even like look at a condom. And it's like, that is how extreme the discussions had. But I bet you if you just went back to the way it was before, where you just had a federally legal right, and then your states would probably be like, all right, within this amount of months, that's about the best contract you can get.
With sex education and with birth control and providing contraceptives, you see the numbers go down. Like, you see, it's the opposite of, like, on the left, we sometimes complain about progressives going, no, it's not perfect, so fuck it all. And it's like, but there's progress. Like, somebody like Joe Biden is making progress. So like, that's a good thing. So if you're a conservative who wants less abortion, I understand. Now, just to address some of the comments in the chat, when I say belief, though, I think when I'm talking about somebody who has a genuine pro-life belief, I think it goes beyond. They believe, you say keep your beliefs out of my uterus, but like they will say that life is just as important as you. Like they feel like that is, for some people, a true belief. It's not a cynical political thing. So I'm just saying, when somebody says to me, like, keep your beliefs out of my uterus, I get it. I'm just saying, on behalf of some people, they don't see a serious distinction in that. Like, I don't think it's a matter. Look at it as, right.
No. And that's why that's why those people right there don't make the laws, because that is because you feel like that, cool. But if I don't, you are not the person that gets to dictate what I do with my body.
It's so crazy that we have lived this long in this country to see the country founded on like separation of church and state. The country founded on religious freedom has just become like a Christian puritanical nightmare. Not that it hasn't always been, there's been, obviously like Salem witch trials are clearly religious bullshit that killed people, but it's just weird to be alive this long and looking at this history and be like, yeah, so we're still at this point where we're like, should certain people's religion be the law? Period.
I think we've
only
taken
that
real
one
step backs. Like I think we have taken like historical steps back. Like not just like, hey, you know, sometimes you have like a guy who's a little conservative, and sometimes you have guys kind of liberal. This is like we're taking a a big step backwards. And just Trace Swindu said, "Are they against the death penalty?" That's always my pet peeve, and I've said that on Twitter where I go,
"They never are."
Right.
And I always say like that. You know, as Toby said in the West Wing, he said, you know, at least the Catholic Church is consistent on the anti-death penalty. They're not consistent politically about it. They make a much bigger stink of one than the other. But like, you know, to me, the death penalty, like, and I know I've heard you don't mind the death penalty for some people. I am one of those people who's like, I would love to see abortion not exist, but I won't go there. I can't go there. I don't believe in like saying nobody should have this. I'm like, I'm one of those people who's like, I think it's sad. I think it's terrible. I think but you have to have sympathy for people involved, not just people protesting. Like it's a sad, tough thing. And I know there's always that actress who will be like, fucking having an abortion I had a party after. It was the greatest day of my life. I'm like, okay, well, I think you're an outlier there also.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage.
But death penalty to me is like, to me, that's the one where I am okay saying like, no, I think we should get rid of it. Like I don't, and I say that for the worst people, from Dylan Roof to the innocent person. I'm like, I don't
and
like
I think
the death penalty
the thing for me is I try to be consistent too, in which I'm okay with people killing their little babies and killing Dylan Roof. Like I just keep it real both ways. Like maybe that baby was gonna be a Dylan Roof. Maybe you saved us. You weren't gonna raise it right. Like you already know it's gonna be put in the system and come out and hate niggers. Let's just get rid of that shit as fast as possible. I don't want to go through that. Yeah. It's a lot of people I look up and be like, fuck, if we could just get like a time machine abortion, that business, I'd be a billionaire within a day. If we could get time machine abortion,
that's a good sketch. That's a good like you go back and interrupt them having sex.
Yeah.
And then you could have politicians like saying that's not okay. Like, wait, but aren't you pro celibacy?
As they say it, they start fading away like in Back to the Future. I'm not okay with, oh God, oh no, it's happening to me. I'm like, I believe my opponent.
They start dissolving like in game.
Yeah.
Just slowly fade.
I believe my opponent, by virtue of no longer existing, will have to yield his time. Republicans who denounced Biden's infrastructure bill have been busted begging Pete Buttigieg for trash. You know, Pete is the Secretary of Transportation, who's been killing it, by the way. And so a lot of these people, Republicans, they've been decrying, like, this is fucked up. The spending is ridiculous.
But they want them funds, though.
And so, in a letter obtained by CNN,
get some of those funds.
Right.
hey, man, you still got some of them. You still got some of them bricks.
Extra change.
Yeah. So
I didn't mean it when I insulted you and your husband for being gay. I think you cool.
Hey, baby, come on now. Come on. You know, we just be talking. You know,
I just be saying things.
I got these bridges, man. I got these bridges.
They're gonna be like, you said some words, I said some words. Words were exchanged.
So in a letter, so they start with Tom Emmer, Republican from Minnesota, who called the infrastructure bill President Biden's multi-trillion-dollar socialist wish list. Then, fast forward 5 months later, in a letter obtained by CNN, this is the part
this shit is public.
This is what kills me about the Republicans. It sucks that their voters don't have what the Democrat voters have. Where it's like they would like that you catch them in the line. It's like, oh man, fuck this guy. Like get us another guy. We can't support this guy. Their people are just like, you know,
don't kill.
But yeah, so he gets caught in this letter. He says the project is important to Minnesota as it serves as a critical corridor of commerce, and that stretch of highway has real safety issues. This grant also strives to serve as a social justice measure. Suddenly, he wasn't so concerned about the socialism. The completion of this project means improved economic opportunities for ethnically underserved communities. Fam, And then Brett Favre said, let's build a volleyball arena with it. You know, like, fuck out of here, man. What? Don't give him. I mean, you got to give him the money, probably just.
But if Trump was in charge, he wouldn't give him shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, and it's not just him. Lauren Boebert, she had tweeted out
my problematic won't tell anybody fave.
Yeah, your hate fuck fave.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this comes from they know the Republican side. I mean, the Democratic side has standards. So it's like one of those things where they can act a fool, knowing that if they ask, you're not gonna tell them no. Like that. This is why they do this, because they know I can really say what I want to say, and you're not gonna tell me no because you actually give a fuck about people, and we don't. I
think when you legitimately have no respect for your constituents, and they have no self-respect, this is what happens. Like, correct. It's like whenever the Daily Show does one of those, like Jordan Klepper talks to the people or whatever. And then those clips go viral, but the main thing it's so depressing to me to see the clips, because those people, even when faced with like actual facts that counter what they just said, their whole thing is like, I'm not gonna look like no pussy and say that I'm not voting for Trump now that you just told me everything I said was wrong. I'm doubly voting for Trump, motherfucker. It's like, damn.
Trump sexually assaulted your wife while you were at this rally. Are you okay with that? Well, what'd she do?
Right, yeah. I'll tell you what I'm not okay with. I'm not okay with Hillary Clinton like being like, right. Where does this come from?
How did we get over here?
I was gonna say and for the Daily Show, I just watched this comedy special. I know Roy Wood. I guess Roy Wood has to be getting talked about for that. Yeah. And I would also, I wasn't a fan at first, but he like won me over. Hassan Minhaj.
Yeah,
I love that dude also. Like, I think they're both great, and I like. But about my thing with, and I think I said this on my podcast like a month ago, but it's when it comes to Republicans, the problem that I think people don't see, it's very White Walker-ish. It's very end of Game of Thrones, where it's like, don't you see that on one side is like the end of America? So you got to get on the other side. Like, and I'm not talking about the people who are down with Trump. I'm talking about every cynical voice and every person that's like, you know, the thing I cannot tolerate is like the left bashing from the people who never say anything about the right. Like, and that's the big issue. And the abortion, not to go Susan Sarandon, but the silver lining of this was it woke people up, in many cases women, to
white women. But go ahead.
Right. I can't work class women. No, it's
hardworking American women dealing with economic,
nuclear family, church going, stay at home, family values, working class American apple pie Taylor Swifts. They
eat stuffing and not dressing.
But to me, the thing that showed, which is my big beef with all this, is the Democrats have been like playing a game against Republicans, but like it's like they're America's offensive line. Like they've been stopping certain things from happening, and nobody gives any credit to the offense. You just watch the quarterbacks on each team. Everybody's like, it's Obama versus Trump, or it's Hillary versus Trump, or it's Biden versus Trump, or Bush versus Obama. And it's like, but the things you care about that you take for granted, that you think I can bitch about wokeness and taxes and disappointing. Sorry, I felt like I was in the rhythm of that. No.
Yes. My reaction is yes.
But it's now it's like, no, you can't just be like, well, I live in a world with clean air and water and good benefits, good social benefits, and abortion access. So I'm just not giving credit to whoever provides me with those things. That's like sunlight and breathable air. And so I don't have to give anybody credit for that. So I can focus on critical race theory,
right,
and trans athletes 3,000 miles away,
right,
and I'll pick whoever I like girls. Right. And I'll pick who I like on those very small, very insignificant issues, both to me and my community, because the Democrats are like I said, the offensive line. They're blocking. They blocked for 50 years attempts to ban abortion, attempts to destroy the environment. And you just kind of go, well, that's just happening. That happens on its own. And now it's like, no, the equation is different now. The question has to be, do you like breathable air and social benefits water? And access to healthcare and abortion? Mm-hmm. And is that more important than one school in Florida that had a drag queen show? What's more important to you now that you have to weigh those? And that's what like
and makes we got like a good 33% of America that's like the school. Like what about the breathable? What about the drinkable water and the breathable air? I'd rather die than let that school have a drag show.
That's right. And it's like this. It's so. And what you said is 33%, and that's why I say, I put on my Randolph Terrence hat and say, like, they are done. Like the 33% are done. We have to wait till they die out. Like we have to wait until the 66% is where we have to say, what do you care more about? Claiming that Democrats talk a lot and do nothing? Is that really? Joe Biden and the Democrats have pulled off a fucking miracle with 50 votes in the Senate. They have done more.
Right. This is the kind of shit that like
LeBron Cavs going to the finals when he was 23 with a bum squad. Like, and I'm not saying Joe Biden is LeBron. I'm saying the Democratic success is LeBron. Like, with
this is the kind of
no margin for error.
That's how the Democrats get judged, is like LeBron James, where it's like the counterfactual is like, this motherfucker so whack. He only went to the finals 10 times and won only 5 rings, and you're like, has anyone else ever gone to the finals 10 times other than Bill Russell?
Bill Russell.
Right, they're like,
facts. Like, I have somebody. Bill Russell.
He ain't no Bill Russell. You like, so y'all want to live in a time? Y'all rather live in a time where because the guy's not Bill Russell, we shit on him? That's what we're doing, and that's how it feels a lot of times. But I just I wish this shit counted. But Lauren Boebert saying "fuck y'all" and then turning around and being like, "Can I get some of this money?" And she wrote, by the way, you can tell she didn't write it. She wrote, "I respectfully urge your full and fair consideration of this competitive grant application for investing in rural Colorado, but Biden's infrastructure bill was not the right way to do it," she said in a statement. Like, but behind the scenes, she wrote that first thing. Can I get some of that money?
And that's what I want to ask these Republicans. Like, I want to, there's 2 groups of Republicans that I want to, if I could put them up to a lie detector test. One would be like the Ted Cruz types, where I just want to be like, for real, do you think you're ever going to be president? Like, is that why you have no morals and no shame? Do you think insanely that you're going to be president? Because if you don't, I have no fucking idea what you are doing. You are a smart guy. And I remember I got into so much shit for saying Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley were like brilliant legal minds. They are. They went to top law schools. They clerked for Supreme Court justices. They are incredibly smart, and they know they have the highest level of legal education and experience. It only speaks to how bad they are as people. It only enhances the fact that, so this is all a moral choice, that you're a horrible human being. But then I would ask somebody like the Boeberts or the I'm not Marjorie Taylor Greene, but those types where it's like, okay, the cameras are off, Twitter is off. What do you want? Like, what do you do you care? Like, put them to a lie detector test. Be like, do you care about the people you represent for real? Like, no bullshit. Do you want to make their lives better? Like, because you are kind of acknowledging that Joe Biden's infrastructure money will help your constituents. So why make a big show?
My thing is that I wouldn't even believe that they would plan to do the right thing with the money.
No, they get it and then not distribute it or take it. And
I mean, look at Brian Kemp. Shit. Brian Kemp in Georgia takes the pandemic money and gives it to the police, like never spending any of it to help his voters and constituents of Georgia.
Brian Kemp looks so good now. I can't believe it. Like in comparison, like he's going to beat Stacey Abrams most likely because, well, there's some misogyny going on there too, which is sad. But that's very sad, to be honest, because you can thank her. You vote for, if you like Warnock and Ossoff, thank her by voting for her.
Right.
And she but Kemp is part of like the Republicans who like at Trump's 100th violation said stop. And so they like, because there's so many Republicans that didn't even do that. It's like, Kemp is actually like, turns out he stole the election in 2018, but now he kind of just looks like out there.
I wonder, I don't know the polls and stuff, and I guess we'll find out, but I do wonder if he'll win. I know he's passed a lot of voter and like making it hard to vote shit down there, which is, to me, would be the more likely response. Like if you're gonna rank why he wins, I think his national platform of being a told Trump no once Republican is more of a detriment with the Republican Party than it is. Look at fucking Liz Cheney. Like, they make you pay for being the one who tells Trump no. Right. And it's not everyone that's a Republican, but the people that fuck with Trump, that put you over the edge, that they're all courting because they know there's a loyal Republican base that will vote for them no matter what they do. But then there's this Trump people that are the narrow edge that give them wins. Those motherfuckers are like, you don't fuck with Trump, I'm not coming out. And I wonder if he's truly in a position of power with those people, or if it's just, I'm gonna suppress the fuck out of the vote and expect to win because of that.
It might be. And I also do like it when people are like, hey, what didn't that happen in the primaries or something? It was like all these restrictions, but voter turnout was even higher. So what's the problem there? Because it's like, so if you put a fiery moat in front of a black person and say, look, he built a bridge and sprinted across it before it lit on fire and voted. What's the problem?
Right. Yeah. The other thing is, he wasn't running the year that Trump was running. Right. So I also don't trust, like, if there was a way where I don't trust that motherfucker wouldn't have been like, Trump got cheated and I got cheated. It's crazy. We both got cheated at the same time. Like,
he definitely would have said that.
But sure, I'm sure Killer Mike will vote for him, and that'll make up for the rest of the black vote.
Warnock, it's just like I've said before, Herschel Walker is obviously somewhere between a broken man and a bad man. And I don't know where on the spectrum he lines up, but he's between those two things. And I'm sure he has CTE. I'm sure he's not a bright. He's like a jacked Forrest Gump, at best.
The two things I think about Herschel Walker: one, those texts to his kid read of the text of a man with CTE. Like, they made no sense. They were at 3 and 4 in the morning. They were all like, I love you. Like, it wasn't no deep
He
shit.
feels like a boxer that like the mob is like holding up and going, you got to take a fall in the 10th or else we'll kill you. And they like push him back in the ring and he's like, just
Karen, they have everything on him. It doesn't matter. He's not.
No. I mean, he's still running. Like, he's like,
I don't know. No, he just thinks it's a good idea because he has the CTE or whatever. But that's the first thing. The second thing I think is because he's a little before my time and I wasn't big into college football. This motherfucker must have been so good. God damn, how good was he?
He's one of the most, he's like, it's like he's at that sort of Christian Laettner or not quite Lou Alcindor, but like Christian Laettner level, like college career. Like he was a superstar. He was a superstar.
Because like, you know how I can just tell by how much shit has been poured out on this guy.
Right.
Like, at this point, it's just, if you were supporting him, it should be embarrassing and not in some like normal Republican embarrassment way. Like, this shit is way beyond the normal level of embarrassment. Like, this is like and he's black. This is like when Herman Cain was in the lead and then it came out he like flirted with a white woman's secretary or some shit and everybody's like, all right, nigga, back to being black. This like Herschel Walker is way past back to being black. They're still fucking with him, and I'm like, this dude must have won 7 Heismans.
College football, is one of those because did you see? I don't know if you have it as a story, but what Tommy Tuberville said. He gave like some basic. It was like it wasn't even dog whistles. Like I don't even know if he. It was just like
it was dog bullhorn.
Yeah, I don't know. His shit is like I'm not a smart man, but I can say racist things. That's like, and it was basically him saying. He was like mocking reparations, which I always have a problem with because all you have to do, the more you read, it may not be feasible. And you paint the picture of like, what are you going to give everybody a crate of cash? Of course not. But it's the more you read, the more you're like, it's really not a ridiculous idea at all.
Yeah. And they've done it in other parts of the world.
But his talk was like, he basically was just like, they want reparations to give to the criminals. They're not like it was there was nothing artful or subtle, and it was like
they want to control what you have. They want reparations because they think people that do crime are owed that.
And it's like people are cheat, and you're just like that dude coached at Auburn, like he coached a bunch of black athletes, and to me, I don't have kids, and I probably wouldn't have them play football if I did, just with the brain issues. But let's say by some miracle, I have some kid who's all of a sudden like, 10 years old and he's 6'1", 205. And there's no way. And I have, I'm from means. I'm not broke. My kid wouldn't be broke. It wouldn't be like, I got to go play for Dabo Swinney or Tommy Tuberville or Nick Saban. Like I have to go to one of these MAGA Christian coaches, millionaire MAGA Christian coaches. But I'd be like, no way. And that's the beauty of basketball because it is so much more personal. The teams are smaller. They're more black dominant. There's more black people now in leadership positions in the sport that like you just couldn't have. You can't have a racist hoops coach, or else he'll be fired. Like, or else it's like you're going to be out soon.
My thing with Tuberville is not even. I don't find what he's saying to be morally inconsistent at all. I think he's saying the same thing, which is I wouldn't have paid those guys to play football, and I do let them do crimes. And now he's just taking it to the national stage, which is his same platform from college coaching, which is. I don't want to pay them, and they're gonna, and it's all right. They do crimes, like that's to be expected. So he's like, so don't try. You can't get me, media. Okay, you just never asked this question when I was a coach. But I do think of that the recruiting, the general, like the cliche recruiting of him talking to some black mom in a living room, and he was doing I'm gonna treat him like my son, and I'm gonna help raise him into a man, and blah. And then just as soon as he leaves, he's niggers. I hate him. Like God.
It's just I can't. It's tough because you're in a position in a lot of these cases where it's somebody who like this is basically their version of grads. Forget college. This is like their grad school before they get a job. And if you can get to an SEC program, if you can play football in the SEC. You are already in like a pool that could be headed to the NFL. Right. So if these guys can open those doors, you do it. And I'm sure if you do things for them, they'll treat you well. Like they won't like Herschel Walker is legitimate friends. I'm reading that new book on Trump and other things I've read on Herschel Walker. Like they're actually friends. Like this isn't just one of those, I like the black athlete. Get over here. Okay, sir. Like they've been because he played for his team when he got out of college. He played for his team. And Trump, true or false, was like, get that guy in there. Like he almost like I hate to if you're Herschel Walker, not the brightest bulb, and your first boss was the one who kind of helped you get your pro stardom going. Right. You're gonna have an attachment. You're gonna like be like, hey, he's good to me. Like he's a good dude. Like I know his heart because you'll be like. Formed in this early stage of like he was so helpful to me at a time when it meant something.
that explains why he ran. It doesn't explain this campaign. Like it don't explain him being like, and black men need to start taking care of their goddamn babies. And then it's like, what about your goddamn babies, sir? It's like, I don't know them women. Yeah, who? Yeah, it's the Trump who. That's what he learned from Trump. he doesn't recognize Christian Walker the same way that Trump doesn't recognize Eric.
Yeah,
you know,
like, I've never seen those women. I don't know those women. I've never seen that woman's vagina.
Right. Not even good lies. Bill Murray paid $100,000 in settlement deal after he straddled a woman and kissed her on a film set.
Oh,
I did something.
Where they do that at?
I did something I thought was funny and it wasn't taken that way, he says.
Of course not.
Back in April, he was accused of inappropriate behavior while on the set of a film called Being Mortal. His production was shut down the same month. The woman claimed the 72-year-old actor straddled a young female production assistant when the two were in close proximity to a bed on the set. He then allegedly kissed the girl in the mouth. Both of them were wearing masks. While Murray said his actions were made in jest, the woman said the situation was horrifying and took it as him being sexual towards her. I mean, technically it is.
Old and gross. I know he's a comedy legend, but he's like old, like he's Viserys. Like if Viserys wants to make out with you, you're not gonna be like that.
Yeah. Also, like she is wearing a mask. She's a PA, which the power difference is so fucking big at that point. And like low key, I'd imagine it's the same. I'm not a woman, but I know as a black person, right? When I'm working on like game theory or something, I'd imagine it's kind of that thing where it's like, I would like to be respected. I'd like to do my job.
Right.
The last thing I want is like some white dude coming up like, what's going on, my nigga? Or whatever. Like, well, see, that's funny to you. To me, you just niggered me in front of everybody. And to her, he just,
no, it's disgusting. I got my one experience on like a big show. Obviously not I was in front of the camera talent. But I have to tell you, the one thing that went through my mind, and this is no excuse. I'm not making an excuse. This is like absurd to me. It's like I'm not like, well, it's absurd. I can't even believe that story in this climate. Like it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, and he should pay. But when I was like walking around the set, it was like I was like the focus for like 5 hours on this show. Right. So I get into like my wardrobe. And then it's like a cute woman, like it's like, hey, how are you? Okay, you can follow me. I'm going to take you to the next spot. And I'm like, very nice. Now I have to say, at the end of a day of like 3 different cute women just escorting me and being super nice to me, I was like, you got to be mindful of yourself. Like you can, if you let this get to your head, not me in one day, but if I was on my 20th show as the star or 50th movie. Like you just have to be mindful, and this is not making an excuse. I'm just saying, clearly that's what happens with some of these people. You just think like you run the world, and you shouldn't think that. But I can see how.
Here's what I think. I think it's kind of our fault because we've been letting Bill Murray get away with violating a bunch of social norms for years.
Look how cool Bill Murray is. Look how cool he is.
Like glowing. We've been writing glowing stories about this dude, like. Hey, Bill Murray showed up at these people's wedding and kissed the bride. Wow, what a guy. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. Going back, this motherfucker was primed to blow the whole time. We was just sitting up here thinking it was cute. Fuck Bill Murray, man. Like I'm not saying he should be surprised, but he is probably surprised, like, I can't do that. And they're like, Bill, there's like 57 things you can't do that you've been doing. He's like, but why this one? And like, motherfucker, it's 2022. Okay, did you not read the papers? We're not doing this anymore. I guarantee you that's what happened.
But it's so weird because it's not even like the Al Franken thing, which was like a fake, like it was like disrespectful. But I don't, I draw a line. Like to me, Al Franken like should still be a senator. That's my opinion. Bill Murray, on the other hand, it's like, what are you doing? Like, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? And I know you're a comedy legend, you're hilarious, but what are you doing? Like you just grabbed.
I think what Al Franken is this. I think it was appropriate that he stepped down. I think it's weird that we, on our side, the quote unquote liberal side, we have, for all these motherfuckers that believe in like restorative justice, ban the box, pardon all the weed smokers and shit, we have no way to bring people back. There is no mechanism of like, all right, they kind of paid, they admitted they did wrong, they kind of paid their due, their whatever their penance is, and at some point this person was an asset to the cause. This motherfucker was great at going on TV and eviscerating these fucking Republicans. He was a reliable vote. This is the blemish on him, and now is there a way to get the usage out of that dude? And I don't think there is over here. I think obviously the I'd rather be on this side than the other side, which is I don't give a fuck if he grab pussies. He's gonna be my president. But it is weird that, you know, what has it been like 8 years at least, maybe longer?
No, not that, because I think Trump was president. I think he was president when Franken stepped down.
Okay,
you're talking about Franken, right? I think.
Yeah, I'm talking about Franken. Yeah, so
I think Trump was president. It's been a minute. 5 or 6 years.
Okay, so it's been a minute for Al Franken, and I do wonder, like, is there even a way for this motherfucker to quote unquote come back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there should be
2017, end of 2017.
Yeah. Right. Okay, yeah. So, and like I said, it's not because I'm like we must preserve this man at all costs. I'm literally saying as an asset that helped with winning, not as a. This is like maybe it makes me a worse person. This is not even me moralizing on like as a human being that made a mistake, but just on a like as an asset that helped with winning that clearly didn't have like a what's that dude? Okay, Anthony Weiner. Who didn't have an Anthony Weiner problem where like this motherfucker cannot be trusted. He is currently and always doing some fuck shit.
Right.
If we give him another chance, he'll do some fuck shit and embarrass us all. Al Franken shit, I do wonder, like, and I don't think that's ever going to be a discussion that is had, but I do wonder, you know, if there's benefits to having that discussion about what is penance and reinstatement look like for a person like that. I mean, can he run for office again, or is it just going to be like that's the scarlet letter for him for the rest of his life?
He could probably run if he wanted to. I'm sure he could find a House district. And he maybe Senate's too big, but he could get elected as a congressman again for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that was an idea I had. If I could animate stuff like a cartoon, almost like a what are those on SNL, like digital short cartoon, where it's like you have the secret Democrat squad and it's Elliot Spitzer, Anthony Weiner, Al Franken, and Andrew Cuomo. Because if you think about it, there's obviously something psychological because those were four of like the most aggressive fighters. Like the left always wants fighters. And those four were like, I'll fuck you. Like I'm here. Like if Weiner had not fucked up, he would have been great during the Trump presidency.
The problem with that secret thing is that Franken's gonna want out. He's like, whoa, not these creeps.
We'll have to find. Maybe I mean. Yeah, he would definitely be like, I'm not sure I have the test scores to join this elite group.
Why I gotta be in this group?
I'm resigning.
Yeah. I'll sit at the table by myself, but not with these.
I'll sit at the table by myself.
But they are like that's the thing. They're all Bill Clinton could definitely be in the mix.
Bill would he'd be at the table.
But he never got really canceled. That's the thing. Like he just
crazy.
That's it. And I stand by my assessment of that FX show. If I thought Clive Owen should have been nominated for an Emmy for his work as Bill Clinton, but the two of them, all I could think was, I mean, if this was really the vibe, if I'm being totally honest, I'm like, let him fuck. Like she sounds like she does phone sex, and Clive Owen really had the smooth, like calming charisma. I was like, let him do it. Let him do it. Power structure be damned. They both want it. I'm not watching.
First of all, my man Ryan Murphy don't really miss. Like, that's a pretty consistent guy. I don't watch his hard shit, obviously, but his American Crimes, they be pretty good. Yeah, gotta give it to him for those. Secondly, the way they told the story, and even like Monica Lewinsky, like the stuff she said about it, I was surprised how like quote unquote true to life they kept it, you know, because you do get the she's in over her head, but then you do also get the like he's attractive, powerful, rich man. like you get the vibe for both, and then obviously the reason I say it's so well told is you get to see like, oh, the betrayal comes in the cover up. It's not like it wasn't just the power imbalance of whatever. It's like she was trying to fuck this dude, but also when it was time for her to get ghost, Bill and Hillary was like a team then. They were like, but like before that shit, he was all like, she don't even love me and shit. But then as soon as the motherfucker turned to like, this bitch gotta go, they was like, high five, former Voltron. We gotta get this nigga out of here.
Dahmer, I thought, I was joking about Dahmer, but it dawned on me, Dahmer, if you fictionalize it a little bit, because it was creepy, and he was like, I meant it when I said like he was evil Joe Pera.
Yeah, so like, funny.
But
as somebody who watches Joe Pera, that was hilarious.
And I gotta say, Joe Pera, I remember going to open mics with Joe Pera like way back, and I was always like, I get he's doing a thing, it ain't for me. Do you know what I mean? Like he was doing like he has been stuck to that. Hey, guys, how are you?
I don't know.
Watched that show.
You watch his TV show?
I just did, because I just wanted to show. I wanted to show Laura like, oh, this is the guy I was saying Dahmer reminds me of, and then she didn't even laugh. She went, "That's eerie."
Yeah,
but it was funny. But then I actually watched, and I was laughing a lot.
It's fucking good. It was one of those things where like I saw commercials for it. It's on Adult Swim. I watch a lot of Adult Swim shit, but I saw commercials for it, and I was like, yeah, that's a miss right there. I don't know why they even fucking do that. You know, like that shit looks boring and and I just accidentally caught an episode where he was like I don't even know how much of this is scripted or whatever, but he just goes to a diner and orders like breakfast and then sits at everyone's table and talks to these motherfuckers about breakfast, and they're all just like old loser people and weirdos. I was literal tears are coming in my eyes when he's just sitting there like, some people prefer sunny side up, but I don't like that much yolk. And it's just like he's gonna do this for 15 minutes, and everyone's gonna treat it. It's fucking genius, man. But what a great call when you said that, because I had watched the whole series and I had that thing in the back of my brain. I was like, this reminds me of something, and then I listened to your podcast. And you said he's doing a evil Joe Pera. And I said, it is evil Joe Pera.
And it's not like, that's not me insulting anybody. Like if you told me that if you said that Evan Peters based it on him, I'd be like, makes sense. Like that.
Yes.
It feels that close. But
my God.
But my thought with that was like, as I was watching Dahmer, I couldn't help but make it like, of course, when I start thinking about things, I always try to find a comedic angle. But I was like, in Jordan Peele's hands, I feel like he could make a movie about like a white ally that you can't trust. And it would be Jeffrey Dahmer. It would be Jeffrey Dahmer who's like, I see you. I see you, black queer community.
Right.
And meanwhile, he's like, I guess, isn't that guy? What was that guy? Ed Buck? Ed Buck? Was that the guy?
The guy who killed the black. He killed.
Maybe that's him. Maybe that is. Maybe that'll be Jordan Peele's project. That dude was that.
Yeah.
He was left
coming up on your show and you're trying to figure out what actor could play it. I think it should be Chris Evans, because black people love Chris Evans.
We do.
We wouldn't see it coming, but Chris Evans in that movie with Ryan Gosling plays a great evil person as well.
Oh, he played a great evil guy.
So he could do the ally stuff based off his real life, and then he could do the setting up black people with evil racism and death from his The Gray Man, yeah. He was great in The Gray Man as an evil person.
That mustache.
But all right, let's talk about a real hero though.
Okay.
Comedian who chugged a beer that was thrown at her after she was heckled by Trump supporters being called brave and a class act.
Move over, Lewinsky. You're only the second bravest comedian now.
So you've seen this video, J-L?
Yeah, several times. I feel Karen, like I'm going through post-traumatic Sarah Cooper trauma.
Let me see if I can play it for everybody, for those who can't see it.
What's your question? Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did I vote for Donald Trump? What do you think? No. Okay.
So now, J-L, let me ask you this. Is she already out of control at the venue by allowing the crowd to ask her questions? Or is that like, you do enough reps on stage, you can get pretty comfortable and that's okay?
Well, this is what's happening with a lot of comedians is because of TikTok and stuff. They don't want to burn their material, that not everybody's just prolific like some geniuses. So they don't want to burn material that they might
biracial geniuses. Okay.
Tall Aaron Judge dimension comedy geniuses. Anyway, it could be anybody I'm talking about.
Right.
But they
have to work.
but so the Q&A is a way of like, basically it's comedy, it's bad improv disguised as a Q&A, where it's like, what do you guys want to talk about, or who do you want to talk about, or what's going on? And really good comedians kind of turn it into fun stuff for TikTok, but that's what it's all about. It's the algorithm and social media making comedians feel like, well, I want to get stuff up on these platforms. So a Q&A at the end of a show is the easiest way. Now, I've done a couple Q&As at the end of shows as impressions, not because I feel like I need to get viral content. I'm like, if you're coming to see me, you just heard a good 45-minute set, but I'm not an idiot. Some of you are probably here because you like impressions. So let's do 15 minutes of, you can ask whichever impression you want to question. It's not for TikTok. It's literally because the people coming to see me might want to hear that.
Right. That's
but with a lot of these comedians, the big comics, I get it. If you're like somebody like a Mark Normand or a Sam Morril, who are pretty damn big now, you actually have like hundreds of thousands of real fans who view you as a celebrity. So it's kind of a cool thing, and you're funny and you make something of it. But this woman, no disrespect to her, I see that it doesn't seem like she has the first of all, until this, obviously she's not a big name person or anything. And I feel like, and I of course mean no disrespect at that, but I feel like everybody following the playbook, it's not always going to go well. And you'll see the video, but like, you know, I take pride in, I've put up videos of me unintentionally winning over or shutting down MAGA hecklers. Right. Not because, but I also have the skill to do that. So I'm just showing off my comedy skills. Whereas you should play the rest of the video. Obviously, it gets interesting from here.
Yeah, this is
Uncle Vinny's is definitely MAGA comedy vibes. You are not wrong at all. I've never worked there, but I know of it.
Sebastian Maniscalco could perform here. This feels like when they always say this on TV shows, like a lawyer should never ask a question they don't know the answer to in the courtroom. This feels like the comedy version of that. Like, what do y'all want to talk about? It's like, did you vote for Trump, bitch? It's like, ooh, I shouldn't open the floor. Shouldn't open the floor. Y'all motherfuckers, nope.
As someone who had to develop, Okay,
let me play a little bit.
As someone who had to develop their confidence dealing with audience members, though, I know when I see someone who's in control and when I see somebody who's not in control. And this, I would say, I'm doing Tony Romo film breakdown
analysis.
Her energy is somebody. Yeah, her energy is somebody who
really, red lines on the screen.
Right, I'm gonna circle it. Like,
yeah, she should have made a left turn here. You see what she's holding the mic? You know, that's what she inflection of the voice, and boom, I wouldn't have done that. Let's go, J-L.
Brandon says she's a very solid comic, so I'll take his word for it. But I'm just saying, in terms of you play it. I feel like she shrinks a little here because it's not what she expected.
Why would you ask me that? Why would you ask me that? Are you trying to get me killed? It makes me feel like I vote in New York. My vote doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, guys. Doesn't matter, guys. Everybody vote. Everybody vote for whoever you want. I don't care. I'm just happy we're on here. I'm just happy we're on here.
You voted for Biden.
Damn. Shout out to that white woman who would not let that go. Good God. Follow up.
I don't know. Why does it matter? Yeah, so what? What does it matter?
I can just tell by your jokes you voted for Biden.
All right. I can tell by the fact that you're still talking, but nobody wants you to. All right. Make some noise when you want to shut up. But I did ask the question. I didn't think it was. That's on me. I could have an interaction with somebody. No, I'll tell you the rest of that bit, and then we'll move on. I'm so insecure. I went and got an ID. Oh.
So someone, as you can see, threw a looked very full can of beer.
Yeah, that was like 10 of 12 ounces were in the can.
Yeah, could have really hurt somebody. And this is how she finishes it off. We're almost done. She chugs the COVID beer. Now the thing for me is, I love the white guy.
Imagine she died of COVID. I'm not wishing that. I'm saying,
yeah.
Just imagine that happening next week.
I love the white guy in his white guy voice who goes, "I'm never coming out with this group of people again."
He is fed up with them. And the most whitest of white.
She thought she was with the white people who yelled support for Alfonso Ribeiro, right?
Yeah.
During the white. Yeah!
That's
the white bitch.
By the way, I'm sorry to go into a different clip, but the thing I love about that clip is, to me, it's that white guy in Mississippi who's racist and loves interracial porn kind of yell. Like he's like more sexist than Alfonso. He's like, fucking white bitches. Like it's like, whoa.
He's a hype man.
Turn it down a couple, buddy.
Alfonso's like a lovely, nice white woman. What?
White whores.
Yeah. Oh, she loves it. Give it to her. Give it to her, Alfonso. I just want to watch. But yeah, so she is a brave comedian. I do think the way she handled that. First of all, she had a couple killer jokes in there that really did make me laugh. That did surprise me. But the drinking of the beer is what she's being lauded as like brave for, and not trying to like escalate it or whatever. So what do you think about it?
I think drinking the beer was as a entertainment move very strong, because it was like the presence of mind to do that and not just see. I would have caught the beer, which is why I'm the GOAT.
Right. But like Aaron Judge catching a pop fly, yeah.
And then I would have thrown it back like a Marvel villain, just absorb the energy, and then like they fly into the back of the room. But
God just has a beer can in his chest like this.
But okay, so there was some echoing on the video. What she said was, her two lines were, it was like, I voted for Joe Biden. Who cares? It's my vote doesn't matter in New York. And that was her attempt to be like, I'm really trying to move past politics.
Yeah,
like, what are we doing?
To de-escalate.
Yeah. And you can't, if I were to give like a Cobra Kai lesson, I'd be like, you can't de-escalate with these people. You have to dominate swiftly. And I think her joke was, she said, I can tell by the way you talk that you voted for Biden. And she said,
by the way you won't stop talking and everyone wants you to, that
you voted for Trump.
You voted for Trump. Yeah.
And so the crowd liked it. And that's the crazy thing. I think this is on the club, but the problem is and I've made this comment on social media. I go, I can't believe people heckle, says the comedian who's always posting clips of him doing a Q&A with audience members. Like you create this, like that's the one thing. The club can't jump in as quickly as they might. If this was just her set, they would have been like, man, shut the fuck up. Probably. This club I hear sucks, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say, like, somebody's heckling, you intervene. But if it's like a Q&A, you've created this kind of like, we're talking, people are mumbling, people are thinking of questions.
How to dictate, when it's time to step in.
It's not her fault, but I'm just saying you have opened, you've opened the, obviously this woman didn't heckle before. She was probably annoyed at like whatever she perceived as, this liberal New York comedian, but it seems probably there wasn't heckling until you opened it up. And then, so it doesn't excuse it, but and throwing the beer is crazy, but she handled it well. Like I said, I would have caught it, but other than that, she did I
would have roundhouse kicked it.
I'm more,
I would have roundhouse kicked it, but not into the person, but it would have plunged into the chair right next to their head, and then been like,
impaled them.
Yeah, next one's going in your fucking chest, and then everybody was like, God damn, that dude knows kung fu and comedy.
But I also think the crowd, it was the good thing for her was that, you know, the crowd was on her side. It was just this one or two people. It was like the crowd was with her. So that's good. I prefer to create like a 60-40 atmosphere when I'm on stage. Right. So it's like, I'm not sure who's going to win this rumble after my set.
Right.
That's what makes it exciting.
Patton Oswalt said Ariel wasn't even doing political material. The drunk heckler was craving what every maggot craves, grievance and revenge, and they'll alter the reality before their eyes to get it. You sound like you voted for Biden, he put in quotes. So
yeah, some of the high-minded commentary on it, I think, went a little too far. Like
Whitney Cummings. Whitney Cummings, who we know, don't go get woke on me. Whitney Cummings.
Don't go get woke. I need to lean into the screen.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that clip? The "Don't Go Get Woke on Me" clip? No.
Oh, do you have it?
Man, honestly, man, it's so awkward and bad. I can't believe you haven't seen this. I'll have to go to her Twitter and find it. Anyway, Whitney Cummings says, for all y'all who want to make fun of comics for saying we didn't sign up to be physically attacked and put on a pedestal, take a peeky poo at Ariel_comedy, your class act. Which there is a thing that keeps playing on what do you call it? It keeps playing on Comedy Central, and it's a legitimate organization apparently about comedians being under attack, and they need to come together to stop people from attacking their free speech. And like, I want to say the person that's on the commercial is like a comedian that I think is funny and respect, and I was honestly shocked to see, like, it was like a clip of Chappelle and then like a clip of, like, you know, so I'm sure this will be a clip now of like comedians are under attack, and I was like, oh, and then it's like a joke thing when you go, oh no, you're serious. All right. All right, here's a clip. Here's a clip for Whitney Cummings that hopefully y'all can hear the audio better on this one. But this is her stand up.
And we went on a road trip. Every song on his playlist was like wild. It was like hey.
Now, can y'all hear that? Is that coming?
It is, but it sounds like it's in a stadium. It has like an echo, so you hear it clearly, but it sounds like, hey, you.
Let's try something else. They may have fixed this issue that they had earlier. Let me see.
Right.
Let me know if you can hear this.
I dated an older guy last year, and we went on a road trip. Every song.
Now, can you hear that at all?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, perfect.
Song on his playlist was like wild. It was like, hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? I was like, oh God. I used to love that song. That shit does not hit the same way. But the good thing about dating older guys is that every now and then you get to listen to R. Kelly by accident. Because they didn't hear about it. Okay, Yahoo News or whatever didn't cover that story. Oh, wow. You're going to try to be woke with me? Newark? You sure? You're going to try to tell me when the art...
So...
that's the running joke for those you do watch the Three Guys On, and you wonder why they put that clip up. That's why.
The secondhand embarrassment is just so strong for me. Because they didn't give her the reaction that she must have planned on, of them being like, whoa, R. Kelly, I don't know about that. They were like laughing and kind of with the premise. She's like, whoa, don't go getting woke on me. And it's just funny that she's one of the people going, and you guys make fun of us for saying that we're under attack. And I'm like, I don't think you're under attack. I think you're okay with it.
It's just, you know, it's the thing I'm not grateful for much in my comedy career, but one of the things I am is that if I ever do make it to where I want to make it, this decades long struggle has like made me harder as like a lot of these people, they talk that talk, but it's because they're soft. It's like you made it big 5 years in. You were mentored, you had representation, you were headlining by the time you were 29, like around the country. And then all of a sudden times become different. And now you're like in this like sheltered world where for like a decade, you've just been on this gilded path of like, all my friends are A-list comedians and we make money and we're doing theaters. And now you want to tell me that there's something wrong with what we're doing. Now I have my limits. I will agree with comedians plenty of times on like, yeah, they should shut the fuck, like the complainer should shut the fuck up. But in terms of like this, like, it's very like how old rich people might be portrayed in movies. Like, oh, like, you know, remember those Polaner all fruit commercials where it's like, would you please pass the jelly? And then all the rich people like go like faint and shit.
Yeah.
At least me, I go, well, there's you when you deal with so much frustration and you're just trying to, you're like, by the time something good happens to me, I just attack my own fans if they annoy me. Because it's like, I've worked too. This has been too much of a struggle that you're not going to like tell me like, dude, delete that. It's like, delete yourself, you fucking piece of shit. I don't care if you ordered 4 cameos from me. Don't order a 5th. Right. But some of these comedians have this very like, it's almost the irony of them kind of clutching pearls themselves. Like it's the Spider-Man picture, like the audience and the comedian staring at each other. Like,
I would say that bloggers and comedians are like the match made in hell. Like when the comedy blogger came about, the target of the comedian is literally the worst fucking target, because who else will personalize and like explode this shit more than a comedian? No one is more like kind of insecure and ornery about it than a comic, and the only other person that can match that is a fucking layman ass blogger that thinks that they know better than the comedian. It's like,
and I'm both, baby.
And J-L Cauvin is giving you the full package. That's what we're saying. Have blog face, okay? Make sure you get the new comedy blog. Is gonna be have blog face. He's gonna do stand up. Then he's gonna write how mad he is about how offended he was with his stand-up. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, so but she was brave. Okay, now listen, we've had fun, but I feel like we got J-L Cauvin here, and we gotta get into something I think we all look forward to whenever he comes on. And I think that we need to talk about some white people news.
White people news, we're bringing excelling to the barbecue. We might be problematic or a little bit dim. That's so really harsh on our fragile pieces. White people news.
All right, let's talk about it with people that hopefully JL will know, so he can guide us. Have you seen the newest update to the firmware on Chris Pine? Okay. He done went to Chris Pine 3.0. He's a silver fox now. He cut the hair.
Oh, he did. He looks good. Come on through something, Pepper Daddy.
Okay. Now he can also play the ally.
He's Ally Hall of Fame. His Denzel in Glory tier with when Common and John one day, and he just had that tear, and you know my timeline was soaked with
he actually
black
looked better when
women's
you saw the
panties.
Pepper look.
No, that hair. I'd asked Laura. I said, "Is Chris Pine like when I saw him in like capri pants and that weird long hair?" I was like, I don't know his dating situation. I don't know anything about his orientation, but I was like, this like is something going on? Because that was like what Caitlyn Jenner was doing. Like when all of a sudden the clothes were looser, the hair was like shoulder length, and I was just like, it's a weird look if he's not doing it for a movie, because it wasn't a good look on him, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you now, he's back.
He sure is.
Okay, hide your women, hide your wives.
All right, Cat Daddy.
Because it looks like Chris Pine is on them streets again. And listen, he's back. Ryan Seacrest has COVID-19 and he's in quarantine. He said, I hope to make a quick recovery.
That man got a zillion jobs. I'm surprised he's just not going down.
He said, I don't know how I avoided it for so long, but unfortunately, I tested positive for COVID-19 a few days ago, and I'm currently in quarantine. While I'm feeling the usual symptoms, I hope to make a quick recovery. I'll be in bed watching TV this week. So please let me know if you have any recommendations, especially for any foodie shows.
This is COVID-19. He's one of those guys, like, I can't stand a lot of those, like, extra hosts and stuff, like the entertainment TV show hosts. I'm like, you're just kind of a polished nothing. Like, you're very good.
Yeah.
Just good. But Seacrest, he's at a level of, like, flawless hosting that is pretty incredible. Like, almost like a machine.
Job.
But he'll do like 4 different things in a day, and he won't fuck up anything. Like, live TV does not matter. He's just like, hey guys, I'm not going to say once in the next 2 hours of live television. What's going on, Simon? And you're just like, he's like in the zone, like always. I mean,
it's crazy
like
because
Kardashian shows or something. Like,
that dude's so good. He's so good. He overcame that Trump scandal.
He did.
Like, that Trump scandal was like, for a guy whose only job is to be liked and to tell us things that we know are coming up.
He had a Trump scandal?
Yeah, wasn't he the one that was in the van with the bus?
No, that was Billy Bush.
Oh, wait, no, he had a Me Too scandal. Ryan Seacrest, right?
Oh, he might have. And I think the joke about that was a lot of people don't even think he's into women. Like, either that's the best cover, or it's like, ma'am, I think you have the wrong individual based on what we hear he prefers.
Yeah, a stylist reveals abuse and harassment allegations. He came back from that.
Oh, wow.
Like, I thought, like, Kurt, what's that dude, the other dude with Matt something? He's done. Like, remember that guy, Matt? He had the low buzz cut, older white dude. He used to do the morning
Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer.
Yeah,
done.
he's Steve Carell from the morning show.
Yeah,
like,
done. Made a whole
him,
TV show about his ass. Somehow this motherfucker came back from that. Ryan Seacrest. Wow.
He's too good. Maybe he's the Tom Cruise of hosting. Like, it doesn't matter what scandals happen. We're just gonna keep
like Scientology. What? Where? We good, you know?
Right. They was like, we can't find anybody that's perfect.
Somewhere Al Franken is taking the ums out of his speech right now.
What about the slaves in your Scientology leader's basement? I'm sorry, I'm flying a jet right now, making $1 billion. I can't answer your questions right now.
Speaking of slaves, I'm a slave to riding the side of this jet as a stunt for real. Like, I'm gonna tie myself to this F-14. You're like, all right. By the way, Neil deGrasse Tyson did his normal science nerd debunking of Top Gun, saying that Top Gun Maverick, like, he was doing 10.5 Mach. Then at that point, he could not eject from his jet. At that point, his body would have exploded as soon as he hit the air. And I
hate to be like this. Don't nobody care.
I was like, and that's why he's the greatest fucking pilot, you nerd.
Right.
Like, that's why it's a movie. There's no movie about him exploding. There's only the movie where he does this and we go, God damn, Tom Cruise good.
If he goes after Tom Cruise again, I'll go all the way and just post one of his Me Too claims and just say, this you?
You got one more time, buddy. That's it. You come fuck with the goat, you get the horns.
You periodical table nerd. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Beat it.
Eddie Murphy, 61 years old, looks youthful in the baseball jacket as he's seen as Axel Foley on the set of Beverly Hills Cop 4.
We're doing the Beverly Hills Cop 4?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Now this would be interesting if this movie's good. J-L, any filler? Now I know it's starring a black man movie, so probably got thumbs down coming out the gate, at least one thumb down. But
I mean, that's the default. It can win. It's like a poll tax or a literacy test. Like, if he passes my test, he can get a positive rating.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
He needs to tell me all the last 50 Best Picture winners of the Oscars, and then he can get a positive rating.
If his grandfather was allowed to star in a movie,
he can get it.
Like, this is one of those things where, like, I wonder if it can be like if it can even be good, because there are like 2 other Beverly Hills Cops movies.
The
third one was terrible to me.
The third one was really bad.
I think the second one was okay to bad. I don't even remember that being great. The first one is good. I don't know how it holds up because it's been a while, but I do remember it being very fucking funny. And of course, like inappropriate. I think Damon Wayne's banana in the tailpipe scene, legitimate tears every single time I've ever watched it. Afraid to watch it now.
And Bronson Pinchot is in it too, right?
I think so. Let me see.
Balky from
he is.
Strangers.
Is he still alive? He is still alive. Yeah, he could do it.
I'm surprised he hasn't shown up in anything because he was like he was kind of Urkel level. Do you know what I mean? Like, like he was kind of
he disappeared.
And I know the 80s. That's the sad thing about the 80s is if you became a superstar, it hurt your career. Like if you became like a great at one thing, it then like killed your career. It was sad. It was better to be plain. So like Jaleel White had to wait for years before he could just kind of show up in other things. Right. And maybe it was like the same with Bronson
that dude that played Mahoney in the fucking the Beverly Hills Cops movies. It's like what happened to him? Like he was,
which one was it? Was Judge Reinhold or the older guy with the mustache?
Hold on, let me look it up. Hold on, I don't know my white people.
Well, no, somebody said Cousin Larry showed up in She-Hulk. I've seen Cousin Larry in like 5 or 6 things. I've never seen Bronson Pinchot out of the 80s.
It's Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, from Police Academy.
Yeah, he was like that dude for like Short Circuit, 3 Men and a Baby, and all that stuff.
Right, Cocoon and Police Academy. I think he just crushed the 80s, and then he just became like a guy. He showed up in Entourage, like literally like 25 years later as like an older, like the way Bob Saget showed up and stuff. But yeah, it was. I'm on
his IMDb. First of all, his name was in Sharknado 4. Okay, I'm in his IMDb. He never stopped working. He just never played another like guy. Okay. Like he's like one episode of this TV show as Philip Miller. You know, like you're like, wow, like the 80s is so crazy.
He had 4 franchises in a decade, 2 Cocoons, 2 3 Men and a Baby, like 9 Police Academies, but he only did the first, I think 4.
Yeah,
he did the first 4, and what was the other one? Cocoon, 3 Men and a Baby, Police Academy. I guess 3. Did I forget something? I thought you maybe mentioned.
I'll go back to the 80s on his thing, but yeah,
but still 3 franchises in a decade.
Bruh,
that's unheard of.
And then it was like 1990 came and he was like, all right, that's enough, buddy. You know, like the industry said we've had enough Steve Guttenberg. Yeah, the 80s is crazy for that. It was anyway. But shout out to Beverly Hills Cops.
Oh, Short Circuit. Thank you. Yes, Short Circuit.
Short Circuit.
Oh, that was my jam.
With that white man, that white man does brown face too.
I know you're gonna say it's because it's me, but I think that dude's hilarious.
What a great okay. So this is a rare J.L. Rod coming together moment for a movie. But damn, him and Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Neck and neck for blackface, brownface. I know it's not my community, and I can't give it a pass for that community. But honest to God, did not know until it came up on Twitter like in 2019. I was like, what the fuck? I've seen that movie so many times. That dude was good. He was really good. And I'm not saying it's okay. I can't do the cultural touchstone for anyone else,
right?
But like so good, I legitimately went back and watched it. Shocked, like, where does the whiteness begin and the character end? I don't know.
Right
now, obviously, Downey Jr. gets the pass because it's making fun of.
Yeah, it's meta.
Fisher Stevens was just in there, like, thanks for the role. Let's do it,
fam. It's honestly more impressive. Because if you would have never told me, I'd never know. It's more impressive. Robert Downey Jr. thing is like looking at the camera, winking at you, telling you like, we know it's fucked up. This is more impressive. That dude. I
didn't know. Obviously, I saw it as a kid, but I just didn't. I was just like, yeah, he's like Indian or Pakistani. Like he's And then like 10 years later, I think I saw him in another movie. I was like, hey, is that the same guy? Johnny number 5. Like, I was like,
he killed that racist shit, dog. I like only the 80s, dog. It'll never be done again.
Never.
My God, he killed that shit, boy.
Well, Scar, like my thing is, because I get into this with people where I say, there's certain things where I go, I know it's not my community, but when I see somebody play something like when they say, oh, Bryan Cranston shouldn't have played a paraplegic, it's like, what do you want? I mean, he's an actor. He's a big name. That movie was actually good. And it's like, what? I mean, it'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to get a different actor that role, of course. But like, it is acting. Like when somebody says they're playing a gay character, you know, or a trans character, I'm all for getting the other, like getting the representation. But sometimes you have somebody like they can play that. They're not, but. And somebody just said Scarface, which I do think is a terrible movie. I'm sorry, Lordy. I mean,
but,
I think it's
Al Pacino.
I own it.
An iconic role.
I own the movie because to me it's an action comedy, not an action drama. But
also, if you ever film Cribs in your house, you have to have it.
Yes, no,
That's
of course.
the rule. Yes,
but that movie. That is a movie. Now, the problem is a lot of the people who love that movie will be Black and Latin people who will be like, I don't need this redone.
Right.
I'm of the opinion where I go, there are so few Latin people in this movie about all Latin people. It's all Italians and Jewish dudes, basically, with the exception of a couple playing all these. And I'm like, I'm not even saying you couldn't have Pacino in the role. I know you wouldn't do that today, but I wouldn't be complaining if it was like, oh, Pacino. No, Pacino's a huge star. It probably helped the movie make money. It may help the movie. He's at the peak of his powers. But Omar Suarez, played by F. Murray Abraham.
Right.
Frank Lopez, played by Frank Robert Loggia. Like these are Jewish and Italian dudes. Like all the stars were basically not like you did the reverse. You didn't like take one role. You're like, what if we just have the dude whose head gets cut open by a chainsaw? He can be Latin. That's to me a movie that should get remade. I would like to see a remake of that.
Yeah, it's so but it was just a different time. I hate when people say it, but it's the truth. You couldn't do that shit today.
Right.
But God damn it, if we weren't in the theater saying Johnny Five Alive and watching apparently the end of Steve Gutenberg's reign. None of us knew.
I'm sorry, Lordy Amina. I thank you for being here in the chat. And Stephen Bauer. I don't know Stephen Bauer because Bauer sounds almost like a Jewish name, but he's definitely like fluent in Spanish from Breaking Bad. So he's Latin. I think he is Latin. Okay. But Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio plays his sister. All the time. Like it was crazy. And that's my whole thing with Andy Garcia. That like I didn't do this bit on the special, but like Andy Garcia was one of those things where I had somebody once tell me like, oh, you came out as biracial too soon, like joking that I could have played like an Italian comic now and had like this whole big Italian comedians coming out of the woodwork now. But Andy Garcia is a perfect example of Latin actor, good Latin actor. Untouchables, Black Rain, Godfather 3. He's playing like Italian dudes in all these movies, and then we get to the like mid 90s, and he's like, "I am actually Cuban," and they're like, "Well, now you can do indie films, you damn Cuban, because you're going to be doing." All of a sudden, we can't find roles for you, even though you are an Oscar-nominated actor in these big movies. It's like. Now you're tired of playing Italians. Like, I get it. And somebody once said, like, I got into an argument with people where it was like, well, he played this. I'm like, he played that because that's what he could get. He didn't play it because he was like, I want to take a job from an Italian. He was like, that's the part I can get to be a working actor and have opportunities. There's no reverse of that where like 10 Latin actors turn down a role so that Al Pacino could have it or that so-and-so could have it.
It's also kind of like
no, I love Al Pacino and I find Scarface enjoyable, but if you watch that movie not with like that Arby's childhood bias, but with like a just let me see if this movie is good, it's like a ridiculous movie.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And it was 2 VHS tapes long, which no one ever talked
Not
about.
2 VHS tapes.
That was just very
Where'd you get that scar, eating pussy? That's right there. Opening scene. Opening scene. The horrible voice dubbing. How am I going to get a scar eating pussy? Like, that's your opening scene. Now, maybe in 83 that was badass, but I was out when I heard that voice dub. Where'd you get that scar?
No one can be shocked that JL doesn't like it. It is a staple of the Black community. So
but I own it. It's there for my MTV Cribs episode.
That means nothing. You can have a poster in your room as long as it's not better than I don't know, that movie about jazz from like 4 years ago that lost the Oscar.
Whiplash?
No, the one about jazz.
Oh no. Oh, La La Land. La La Land.
Yeah. As long as it's not, it will never beat La La Land for J-L Cauvin. We just need to accept that. I don't even try to change his mind anymore. Let me guess, you're not excited about Black Panther 2. Okay, we get it. Angela Lansbury.
I'm gonna see it. I'll give it a chance.
I know you'll see it, but you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it like this.
And
this is how you're
gonna make a confession here. I'm gonna make a confession here.
Oh, okay.
Once I was able to see the preview in the theater without all this nonsensical internet hype in the comments, I was like, that's a good ass preview. But I didn't see the new preview. I saw like just the first original.
The first one hits hard in the theater. It hits in the morning.
Great preview. Yeah. Great preview.
Well, I'm sure you'll find a way to tell us why it's an A- preview by the end of the week or some shit. It's never enough. It's never, the Black things are never good enough. Angela.
Well, you know what the greatest preview of all time is? It's the bank robbery scene from Dark Knight.
No, it's not. And this and not just is it not. I think I can get you to agree with this.
I did see The Woman King, to answer the question.
Yeah, I think I can get you to, I hated it. I can get you to agree. I think I can get you to agree with this though. The greatest movie trailer of all time is that Tom Cruise Mission Impossible with the fucking
yes, with that song
thing where it turns into like, was it Impossible Dragons or whatever the fuck, Imagine Dragons? The one it's the one where it's like down with the victims.
Yeah,
when you need them. That's the motherfucking greatest movie trailer of all time.
Whoever cut that shit, they was in their bag. That's my jam.
That's when theaters were open. Me and Karen were going to a movie every Thursday.
Yes.
And every Thursday we saw that trailer, and every fucking time we were like,
party.
When is this movie coming out?
Like, boom. Yes, I'm ready to see you run. Let's go.
Honestly, if fucking Nicole Kidman or whatever her name is would have had that on the screen when she did her like, we come here because I would have been like, you're fucking right, Nicole Kidman. We do come here because Tom Cruise jumps off of cliffs to Imagine Dragons. That was the best trailer.
Yes, bravo.
I really don't think I'll tell you that was a great preview. I also, in my mind, I always remember thinking the Any Given Sunday preview was phenomenal. But the Tom Cruise really is like, I mean, I have a bit that I've written about him now where I'm like, I'm starting to think maybe I should give Scientology a chance.
I mean, listen.
Like,
makes it look good.
Apparently,
if you're Tom Cruise, is there any way that somebody can talk you out of how you're living your life? You're like, I'm 60, I look 40.
Right.
My movie just passed Avengers. Right. No joint pain.
I have
no Derrick Rose knees.
It's also underrated. No personal scandal. Like
the thing about it is
Scientology is his scandal. Right. But I'm saying like we don't have a Tom Cruise hit. So we don't have a thing. Everyone else has a thing. You know what I mean? Just about everyone except maybe Denzel. Every other star that big has a fucking thing where like, but he ain't shit. His shit is he won't stop fucking with them people that ain't shit.
I'm going to use a term. I think he is post scandal. Like he is at a level where it no longer matters. Like in other words, I've heard weird things about like how he maybe treated Katie Holmes just in terms of their child and like weird stuff. But he's at a level now where it's like, we're not, no, I'm not concerned. Like I don't think there's anything there that will like, obviously if you found out something horrific, of course, but I just feel like this is a dude who is too in control of his legacy, of his career, of who he is, that it's just like, you know, there were all the rumors that he's gay. That it's like other people, it haunts them forever. Him, it's just like, that was a thing people said, and it might be true. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if he's closeted. Nobody cares if he's gay. Nobody cares what, like, he's now elevated to the next level. Whatever the next level of humanity is, it's like, oh no, he's post scandal. Like they don't exist where he is.
It's honestly, it's damn near impossible. I don't know what could bring him down. I'm sure there's something, but we ain't seen it yet. And that, like, he's our greatest movie star. This motherfucker made $1 billion in the pandemic when some Marvel movies not making $1 billion no more. And this motherfucker came through and was like, y'all want to see an old ass man fly a jet one more time to some rock? And we were like, yeah, I'll have some of that.
Yes,
I love that movie.
And one thing about him, he took his whiteness. He said, Hollywood and movie theaters, get on my back and run with me. I'm gonna bring the industry back. And they was like, oh,
that motherfucker,
Tom, you're bullshit. And he was like, watch me.
That motherfucker did an interview last year and said, when he was giving this speech about Mission Impossible and why they were so important to film it, and they had to go through all this COVID shit, and he was like, we got to do this. He told Hollywood, wait on me, I'm coming. Like, what? This motherfucker, like, I got this. If y'all can make it through the next few months, I'm gonna put y'all on my back. And I remember kind of laughing like, Tom, it's a goddamn pandemic, boy. I apologize, Mr. Cruz. You goddamn right you put him on your back. Wow.
There are very few. I mean, there are people that if I saw in person, Obama is one, like where I'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise might be at this point the guy that I'm like, whoa, like if I stood next to him, I'd step 2 steps down because I'd be like, you need to be eye level or higher than me. Like, I don't want to know that you're 5'8". You are 40 feet tall to me. So I'm not going to stand here and look down on you. Very Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon respect. Right. Like, where I'm like, I'm not, you have to step up. He's one of those, like, he's, and the thing is, the other thing that I found interesting about Top Gun 2, obviously it was a much more diverse movie than, you know, was she a Latin woman?
Yeah.
Right. Black dude, Latin woman, mean blonde guy. Of course, you got to have that Johnny Lawrence type guy.
The bad guy. Always.
But it was like enough where it was like, yeah, this is realistic. There's going to be more. Like, it's the fucking armed services. Like, you can't have all. That's ridiculous to have like a white armed services. But it just was one of those things where it was like, even the way the movie was done, there was more diversity. It wasn't going to overwhelm MAGA, where they're like, looks like they got woke in the Air Force or the Navy. Yeah. And yet it was more. And then it's that thing too, where like,
it's the thing where it's like the Joe Biden effect, where when we go, like, you hear, it's like Captain America, right? Like Joe Biden, Steve Rogers, Tom Cruise. When they say that shit, that we all go, here's that bullshit they're gonna sell us. We're not really divided. This is a place we can all come together, but they believe it. And so then the transitive powers of them believing that it's not bullshit makes us overcome our bullshit for a little bit. Like, you know what, man? Top Gun it's just a place for us to come together in the theater and to do this. And next thing you know, you're fucking in the theater, probably next to some person that's gonna go right into their Blue Lives Matter bumper sticker truck, but you're in there with your Black Lives Matter t-shirt on, and y'all are fucking rooting for the white man to blow up the nondescript European nation that we
not even on the
map, with his diverse crew of young, talented up and comers. Like, it did work. I gotta give him credit. All right, final white people news story. Angela Lansbury, y'all. She finally died. That's all she wrote. 96 years old.
Oh, that's the All She Wrote lady?
That's the Murder She Wrote lady.
All She Wrote lady.
I've never seen that show. It was 5 days.
She did Murder Was the Case.
She did right. Murder was the case that she tried Snoop Dogg. She
before Martha Stewart, he was with Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, she was his lawyer. She passed away peacefully in her sleep 5 days before her 97th birthday.
Okay, that makes sense. I said she's been around for a very long time.
Shout out to all of us that were babysat or raised by our grandmamas.
Mm-hmm.
We're familiar with your work, ma'am.
Yes, that
you did a service.
Heat of the night, and
yep.
Yeah,
solved many a crime with just
like a Manchurian Candidate. She was in the original Manchurian Candidate, I think. Like that was like an old classic before, like Denzel, I think, redid it much later. Yeah. But that was like no. She's one of those people who had like such a long career that she has like fans of like of different generations who know her from different things.
Yeah, you know what my favorite thing to do is, and this is not, I shouldn't say favorite. Obviously, I hate, someone died, it's sad, but I love when the articles come out and then they show you how hot they were.
Beautiful.
It's
yes.
Like, here's this 90-year-old woman who died of old age. You only probably knew her once she turned 60 is when you became aware of her. Here she is at 20, a smoke show. You're like, oh damn, Angela had it like that. I didn't know.
Same thing with Betty White. You was like, wow.
And they're all former smoke show. Period, because you couldn't make it.
Well, especially in that era. In that era, they didn't do except for like Betty Davis, who was like the Meryl Streep of her time. You had to be attractive. You couldn't make it. They weren't going for authentic casting.
Yeah, the white people wasn't. No, the white men in charge were not giving no woman a chance that they didn't want to fuck. But yeah, there's
Betty White, good example. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Betty White is like an example of where I go. The real thing of Betty White, and I have a joke where I'm like, how do you know if a woman is good looking for 90? Like there's not enough where you're like, you're pretty good. Like if you look good at all at 90, that's good for 90. But Betty White is one of those women where like every phase of her life, she looked good for whatever that age was. So when she was like 68, you're like, that's a good looking 68-year-old. And then you see her like 20 and you're like, whoa.
Also, like any woman that lived through the age of the cone bra.
Come on.
Like, because to me, that's like such a demerit that you had to live through. Like your beauty was, you were walking around with like a -2 on whatever your score was, because those fucking bras are so ugly and unattractive.
If you had to walk around with sewn in shoulder pad.
Like you had to get to like 60 before they invented like good bra technology. Like, ma'am, take a bow. I guarantee you were a fucking smoke show and you had to deal with this bullshit your whole life. So rest in peace to the queen. Somewhere solving murders in heaven. And of course, this isn't really white people news, but Nick Cannon is waiting on his 11th child. What? Did he just have 9 and 10? He posted pictures. What's this, a monthly event? He posted pictures of his 10th child and in anticipation of his 11th child. So
this is a real story you're sharing.
Yes. Sperm candy.
That is, come on. Like this is disgraceful at this point. Like this is, because it's,
oh, look at the baby.
It's a little crown.
Does this dude think he's in Game of Thrones or something? Like Robert Baratheon? I'm fucking hoes across the country.
Trying to keep.
He said, it's my job to never let your crown fall. And he's holding it up for the little baby on his Instagram.
And the 3 days a month I see you when I'm not in 8 other homes, I will put your crown on your head.
Yep. The couple secretly welcomed Onyx just 15 days before it was announced that he welcomed a baby boy named Roz Messiah Cannon with Brittany Bell. Hey, I wonder if
who wrote this article. I'm sorry, no. Who wrote that article? Because the first sentence was Nick Cannon proves he's every inch the father. I'm like,
it is on the Daily Mail, so
I think that's intentional. He's
Sonia
every
Morin.
inch the proud dad.
Yeah. He's yeah, he was proud of his BBC, his black beautiful children. Yeah, he posted these photos of Onyx Ice Cold Cannon. Ice Cold, come on, man.
Not ice cold.
He's running out of names. Ice Cold. That's man, that's like a joke.
He's gonna have to start franchising his babies. He's gonna be like, and this is Onyx Cole 2.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, he's had another one, y'all. So what I wonder is, do the other baby mamas know about the new ones on the way, or do they get surprised like us?
I think they get surprised like us.
You know, like,
unless you're the one pregnant, you're surprised like us.
Yeah. But yeah, I wonder about that, and then also, I would love to see the schedule, the day planner of Nick Cannon, and how is he ever in these kids' lives at this? Because if it's gonna keep growing, is there a Zoom call every morning? Is there like a,
how do you see them all off to school?
Is there like
Zoom?
a FaceTime, group FaceTime? Like, how are you able to coordinate
definitely
this?
keep Microsoft
He just
Teams
drives the school bus, and it's just his kids. I think there's going to be like in 30 years, Ancestry.com is just going to be like, you are a 5% Nick Cannon.
They'd be like, I didn't know. Nobody told me.
All right, last thing. Oh God, I hate to end it, but we've had such a good time. We've gone so long. Sword ratchetness, everybody. Let's talk about it. Last thing. A man attacks a Catholic cathedral with fire and a sword.
Fire and a sword.
Man used fire and a sword to attack an Oklahoma Catholic cathedral while school was in session on Wednesday. Wow.
Oh, the babies is in school?
Now, I gotta say, this is from the OhioStar.com, but they said the school told the Daily Caller News Foundation. The Daily Caller, isn't that like a right-wing hack site?
That's like hardcore right-wing. Like Daily Wire is like the respectable psycho right-wing site, like Ben Shapiro. Daily Caller, I think, is like beyond that.
Yeah, why would you call them to tell them anything?
It probably means that they saw like a left-wing person or a person of color going towards a Catholic church and just wanted to immediately be like, look, we've got a radical left person attacking a conservative place. Let's promote this.
Well, I definitely don't trust the source on this anymore. But I mean, swords are swords. I mean, maybe they're anti-sword too. I don't know. It said Daniel Edwards carried a huge ice chest, attempted to break into the Cathedral of Holy Family Cathedral School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, while students were outside taking school pictures. The school told DCNF. So the Daily Caller is trying to go by to fool us now. The DCNF.
Rebranding.
Yeah. The Daily Caller News Federation. Edwards then threw a flaming object into the side of the building, used a sword to attack the school's front desk attendant when he confronted Edwards. During this time, students were in front of the steps taking pictures, blah, blah. Same thing they just told us. The whole school was placed on lockdown and remained so until law enforcement cleared the school. He was arrested following the incident, though the school noted that he never approached the school building. The school's front desk attendant is being treated at a local hospital for wounds he suffered on his hands from the sword.
Wow.
Yeah. Class has been canceled for Friday and Thursday because we're raising a generation of wusses. Okay. In my day, you get shot at lunchtime. Maybe there's no after school, maybe.
But the next day, shit, they're like, we got
back in school. It ain't no counseling either.
Oh, zero counseling.
The only thing you're gonna get is some Arby's when you get home, and then he's right back on that.
You have to give your kids Arby's. It's the problem with kids these days.
That's what happened.
Parents aren't forcing Arby's on them.
We stopped giving the kids 5 for $5 roast beefs, and now look at them.
It changed their lives.
Y'all wonder what happened. But yeah, so they going up on the Catholics now. Y'all got to be careful. So if you want more information, just check out the Daily Caller because I won't be clicking on that. Dale, tell the people where to find you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me. JLComedy.com. You can get all my links to my podcast, YouTube channel, all social media links and tickets for all those gigs coming up. So,
all right.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Anytime, man. Make sure y'all.
And I guess now we have a Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, we always get something when you come here.
Yes.
I never know what, but we always stumble into something, and I like the Michael Eric Dyson.
Me too.
You might even be able to pull that off, like with like the makeup and hair type stuff. Like, I feel like light skin enough for you to get some glasses.
Because it's all about I'm not looking at you in the face. I have the expressions and the rhythm. And when you talk about an entrepreneur like a Jay-Z who says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, what you have to realize is that he's using punctuation to punctuate the point of his entrepreneurial status as a mogul and an African-American man in the community.
That's good.
Yes.
That man good.
Yes. Oh man. Listen. Thank you so much, J-L.
Thank you, J-L.
We appreciate y'all. Check him out, man. Go see him, Chris Lambert. Go see him anywhere
live.
You can get tickets. We've seen him before in person. So funny.
It is
so good.
Worth the price of admission. I promise you.
And you never know when blackface is coming out. So go see him just in case it never comes out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, just in case.
In case it goes back in the vault like the Disney movies used to.
Yeah, the jinx is strong, man. We'll be back tomorrow with our Game of Thrones recap. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye, J-L. It's fun.